Boy, I'm really excited to do this, guys. I've been looking forward to this all year.
Oh, we know.
We know.
You've brought it up a lot over the past year.
I know. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
All right, I got my top 10 list ready to go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second annual Top 10 episode. I'm Vito.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jesse, and we are the Dad Fathers coming at you with some 2021 energy.
A big exhalation from all of us here at Not Your Father's Movies.
We made it through, guys.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, what a long 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Am I right?
You mean from March of 2020 all the way up to now? Yeah. It's been a very long 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks in and out.
In and out. It was easy. It was done. But it's crazy. We're on the other end of 2021, one of the longest years I can remember. And there was a lot of movies that came out this year. And in a large way, doing this podcast helped ground me for the year. I don't know how you guys felt, but it was nice to know that I had something I knew I was going to have a good time with every week that I could just look forward to. Because that used to be dinners at friends' houses. That used to be going to the movie theaters. That used to be anything. And now it's like, I can't wait to get on a video chat with some friends of mine and talk about movies. That's not sad.
Yeah, it was great. I also watched more movies last year than I have in a very long time. So that was nice. It was nice to have a list kind of made out for me and being more in the loop with movies, because I'm not normally that. I'm just an average dad watching whatever happens to be on Netflix normally.
Right. But that was a cool thing about this year too, right? Is that we had the day and date thing for HBO Max. So for year long, we got to see high quality blockbusters from the safety and comfort of our own homes. And if we so dared, we could go out and see those movies like we did finally when theaters kind of came back with Dune. And wasn't that an experience? Holy shit.
Can I say that 2021 is kind of like a golden age for me seeing new movies because they all came out on streaming.
Yeah.
It was I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen again. I hope it does.
Well, I think isn't HBO Max keeping it up this year? I think I saw that.
I would hope so. I really hope so. As Amanda Dobbins on the Big Picture podcast keeps saying, let people see your movies. And I'm 100% down with that. Yes, I am a normal person who tries his best to watch a lot of new movies. And it's really hard to do that.
Yeah. Especially we've got kids, we've got newborns. We can't take a newborn to a movie theater. I mean, we can. I've done it. But
don't want to.
Don't want to do that again.
How much do you want everybody to hate you?
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. But so on the show today, we decided from last year, we did a combined top five movies that we all did kind of lumped in together because we just started the show back in September and there wasn't that many new movies. So it's actually pretty achievable to do. And we didn't miss that much in my mind.
And also, I'm not even sure if I had seen 5 movies from 2020 at the time. Right. So we had to make a combined list.
But the ones that you did see were actually surprisingly good. And I mean, Emma was fantastic. I still think
Emma ended up being great. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But this year, because there's so much more for us to see, and we've had a year to prepare, we actually have a couple categories that we're going to run down here before we get to our list. So maybe I want to start passing the torch around to say, Mike, what movie did you want to see the most, but have been unable to so far?
So I have a list here of 7 movies, and I'm going to pick one, I think. I'm going to pick 3. No.
Okay, good.
I'm going to pick 1.
No, I'm going to pick
3. I really want to see Cyrano. I am very stoked for that. I want to see it with my wife. This just looks like a lovely love story, and a lot more with music by some of my favorite people.
The Desners, right?
The Desners and the National, the band The National. I mean, like Matt Berninger, I think, did the lyrics along with his wife, maybe. And it just looks like a fantastic movie. But that came out in the throes of Christmas celebration, and I have not had a chance to see it yet.
Also, I feel like it was out for like a day, and then Spider-Man: No Way Home just shotgunned it out of theaters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But just for listeners, just so they might have some more appreciation, what is this movie Cyrano?
Yeah, so Cyrano is Joe Wright, who did the new
Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice. Thank you. As well as Atonement and a couple other movies. His take on the Cyrano de Bergerac story. It is a musical. It is a period piece. It looks beautiful. The music sounds great. I'm very excited for it. The National did the music, and Peter Dinklage plays Cyrano de Bergerac. So it just looks like a fun time. There's war. It's the 1800s or 1700s or something like that. There's love. And the basic story of Cyrano de Bergerac is that Cyrano de Bergerac, I don't remember if he's a dwarf in the story, or if he's a little person, but he is ugly or something. Like, he's not good looking, but he writes, and he can write amazingly. And he's in love with this woman. And so in order to woo her, he offers to woo her for a good looking young officer that is a part of his regiment. And it is the story of true love in the end.
I love a story of love and war.
Yeah, exactly. Like what more can you ask for?
Mike, I know you normally don't like to watch trailers or look stuff up a lot about movies before you see them. Right? Because you like to go in as a virgin, basically.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So it blows my mind that you gave that nice synopsis of the movie and haven't seen it. So that means you looked it all up.
The trailer is like honestly, like I could just watch the trailer over and over again. It just looks thrilling. The music is great. It makes my heart. But the story of Cyrano de Bergerac, I think it's a story from the 1800s or
it's
early.
Old.
Okay.
It's old.
Yeah. So the fact that Joe Wright's making this movie, he's not making a new story, but he's putting his own sort of spin on it.
Gotcha.
Which is, I think we all know, at the very least, going to be pleasant to look at.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I think the movie that I really wanted to see the most, so that one I wanted to see because it looks amazing, but I kind of knew I wasn't going to see it. The one that I really tried to see, but just didn't end up making it to, was Red Rocket by what's his name? Vito.
Sean Baker.
Sean Baker, the guy who brought us the Florida Project. I am this one makes me a little, I don't know if nervous is the right word, but it's not something that I think I'll be able to just recommend to anybody. But it's about an adult film star who goes home to his small town in Texas after he gets booted out of the industry. Sean Baker is just a magnificent filmmaker. He tells stories that are not like anything else that I've ever seen. And so that makes me very interested in seeing this movie. The poster is of the main character, played by Simon Rex, who was like an MTV...
a BJ, dude. He was a BJ.
Yeah, he plays the main character, and he is naked inside of a donut, doing like a Marilyn Monroe sort of like. So I mean, just that alone makes me interested in it. That Sean Baker made a movie that has this poster. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I need to see that donut.
I need to see that donut come off. What?
All right. What about you, Jesse? What did you not get to see that you were most excited for?
I mean, like I've actually just got a huge group. Probably like there's 3 big ones. They're all big. Actually, I'm going to go with 4 big ones that I wasn't able to see. First being The Tragedy of Macbeth. With Denzel, Frances McDormand, and her husband Joel Cohen directing. Sounds amazing. Like, that is a crazy combo that I've never seen before. Of course, I've seen the Coen brothers and Frances McDormand, but never just Joel and
Right.
his
Yeah.
wife.
And never Denzel.
And as Macbeth. That sounds bonkers. That came out for Christmas Day only, and I wasn't able to get to it. And then there are a few other theater-only movies that I have not been able to get to and really want to. West Side Story by Steven Spielberg, because it's West Side Story by Steven Spielberg. Haven't been able to get to that. Or House of Gucci. Couldn't get to that one either. In fact, I don't even really know what House of Gucci is about. I just know that it's like Ridley Scott, right, with Adam Driver and Lady Gaga, who I've enjoyed as an actress ever since A Star Is Born, and realized, oh, she can act. This is cool. Also, I think Al Pacino is in that one too. Like
and of course, Jared Leto.
Oh, and Jared Leto. Like, how does that not sound pretty entertaining? That is a wild cast. I'm going to see all of them play off each other. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And then the last one was Licorice Pizza. Was not able to go. I did reach out to friends of the pod who all bailed. Nick, you have no excuse. I know Nick has never actually been on the podcast, but and then Letney and Spicy Dan were both sick. So Godspeed to a good recovery there.
I got to go with Letney. So
I heard.
I'm the lucky one.
Yeah, sounds like a deliciously sweet time.
Oh, yes.
It was.
How about you, Vito? What did you not get around to seeing?
Actually, all the movies on both of your guys' lists there were also on mine, with the exception of Licorice Pizza. I was able to see that. We'll have more about that later in the show. But just to add on to that, I know a movie that I really wanted to see, Mike was able to see, I didn't get to, was Come On, Come On. The beautiful new movie starring Joaquin Phoenix from director Mike Mills. I love Mike Mills' other film, Beginners. I was really sad to just not have time to do this one. I also really wanted to see Nightmare Alley. Del Toro, about carnies and how men are the real monsters, which I'm always down for. And then I think the last one I wanted to mention was the two movies that are really driving a lot of discourse that I didn't even know existed until last week. Was Drive My Car and The Worst Person in the World. I really want to see these. There's no actual way that I can see them at this time, which really sucks. But I really wanted to get to them as well. So just so you know, people, we're naming these movies just so that you know what you're getting into. If you don't see it on the list, it's because we didn't see it. We tried our best. But it sucks when all the movies come out in 1 month, which is also happens to be the month that Christmas is in. Stop doing that.
Yeah, it's a wild time. I just don't have the time to go to theaters that often. I did go. No, I only went one time. so yeah.
Right. I just wish that the old days of MoviePass would come back so I could just go to a
coming.
million movies.
They're coming.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this Mubi thing. The Mubi is doing like this. They're rolling out slowly to different cities, like a ticket a week sort of thing.
Right.
With your subscription. I'm excited to see if that comes to my tiny town.
I hope it does.
In 10 years. But another foreign film that I am very interested in seeing is A Hero by the guy who did A Separation. I'm not going to try to say his name.
Right.
It's going to be kind of like a hard time, but like,
a hard time in a different language is also another way of saying right up Mike's alley.
Yes, I'm super excited.
But that's what we missed. We all wanted to see it, and hopefully we'll check back in with you once we have brought that list down a little bit to a more manageable size. But maybe starting off with a question we don't usually ask. What's the best TV show that you saw? I'm just going to go first here because I watch the least amount of like series of all three of us. Like I watch a good amount of sitcoms and whatever, but that's just because I want to relax. But a TV show I did really enjoy, it was on Netflix. It was called Murder Among the Mormons. This was earlier this year. I think I actually mentioned on the pod before, but it's a little mini series about a bomber in the small Mormon community. And it's actually directed by Jared Hess, who you might know as the director of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre.
Wow.
It's very strange. It's a really weird little mini series. There's moments where you can really recognize that this is a Jared Hess joint, like a bunch of I guess these Mormons really broke bad, and so they're taking like automatic weapons out to the desert in sports cars and like shooting stuff in the air, but they're wearing like the very classical what you would think of when you think of a Mormon youth, with the tie and the short sleeve button up shirt and everything. It was really funny and also really sobering. It's definitely the most serious thing he's done, and I found it like a really interesting story. So if anyone has any interest in true crime, and wants to see a really good presentation of that, Murder Among the Mormons, I watched it on Netflix.
That's great.
That's normally something I would pass over. Like, what is Murder of the Mormons?
Among. Just murdering amongst Mormons. Yes.
Okay. Yep. I would normally skip that, but now I guess I'll give it a shot. Sounds interesting.
I had a good time with it. It was a late night. I was editing just another episode of the show, and it was wild. It was so engaging. I was frequently like, hands frozen on the keyboard, just watching it and being like, "Oh shit, I have to get this done." That's my recommendation.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And you saw Squid Game too, right? Because
I did see Squid Game.
Yeah. So I guess there were like 5 big TV shows, 4 of them being Marvel. Did any of us watch the Marvel shows?
Oh,
yes, I did.
I did. Wait, okay. There were 4?
Yeah,
there's now 4. Yeah,
Hawkeye, Loki, Falcon, and WandaVision, and then there's the What If.
Okay, I didn't see Hawkeye.
That's 5. Oh, crap, that's 5. Yeah, I actually refuse to watch any of those. I refuse to give more minutes of my life to the MCU, which is already a TV show.
Yeah,
in theaters.
I did the WandaVision. I liked the WandaVision. I tried the Loki. It was boring. I did the Falcon Winter Soldier. I found it almost morally reprehensible. And then I did one half episode of Hawkeye, but not even, no, I did 45 minutes of the first episode of Hawkeye, and they still had like not bumped into each other. And I was like, okay, this is 6 episodes, and I've spent 45 minutes watching this, and the 2 leads have not met. Why is this?
That's bad.
And the What If was fine. I don't know. What If was fine.
I watched 2 episodes of What If, and I was disappointed with, I don't know, Thanos in episode 2.
Oh, yeah.
Being, like he's not actually a villain. If someone had just came and told him, hey, your plan is a little bit stupid. Like,
I know.
And there's another way to give resources to people, which apparently is pirating. Because it's basically what they're doing, right? It's just like, this is so dumb. Did he never consider this? Really? This kind of ruins the whole character.
I think the idea is that it's stupid. Like it's stupid, and it knows it's stupid. I don't know. I'm not. Here I am defending.
If something is meta, does that make it okay? That's the real question.
That's what Marvel does. It's like, well, this is stupid, but we know it's stupid.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, you're right. That is the case, and I just wasn't enjoying What If, so I stopped there. Yeah. I was like, all right.
The one episode I thought was good though was the evil Doctor Strange episode. I think that episode's actually pretty good. I really dug that one.
That was cool.
I thought that was actually like, yes, this is what I came here for. Not to see Thanos as a good guy, but to see like, of course the wizard would break bad sometime. Like, of course he would. He's so powerful. Anyway.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Squid Game, Jesse. Is this the best TV show you saw this year?
Oh, no. I enjoyed Squid Game. Squid Game was a whole lot of fun. In a very brutal way. No, but my pick of the year is Clarkson's Farm, which is on Amazon. It stars Jeremy Clarkson. All right, so it's a documentary. It's of Jeremy Clarkson, who is of Top Gear fame. So he fixes up cars. Been doing car stuff for many, many years, and he buys a farm. Like, this is a real thing. He goes and buys a farm, has no idea what he's doing, and decides to do farming. Wow. And everything goes wrong, like, all the time, and he keeps on thinking that he has better ways of doing things, and they're just not better ways. Like, instead of buying a really expensive sheepdog, after he buys sheep to mow his lawn for him, he decides not to buy a sheepdog for them, and instead, like, gets a drone. And records dogs barking on the drone to go herd them around. Stuff like this just happens constantly. It's like a really nice, pleasant English countryside, and he just keeps on failing and also sometimes succeeding, and you kind of start rooting for him because it's like, yeah, you go, Jeremy. I know you don't know what you're doing, but you grew some crops and you are raising sheep. That's kind of cool. So yeah,
Nice.
It was a great time.
That sounds really great. How family friendly is this?
I think I think they bleep out all words, so I think it's very family friendly.
I love bleeped out cuss words. That's why we do it on the show, but I love the bleeped out cuss words. It's so much funnier.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for that, but I'm pretty sure we watched it when the kids were awake. So, yeah, this was like a daytime show and not one of our nighttime Squid Game type shows.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a great time. How about you, Mike? What was your favorite show of 2021?
I got straight on board the Succession train, man. That show is amazing. I am such a huge fan of Succession. It's great. Go watch it. You guys should see it. It's amazing.
It's like I was in the bathroom before the show and I was on Twitter, and of course Twitter is all just about Succession right now. Yeah. And then I come on the show.
And here we are. It's Succession. It's so good. It's like King Lear, but funny.
Very good. That's a good pitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to do it. I do want to do it. I just gotta commit.
It's not even that much of a commitment. It's just several hours. Let's move on to the best animated show or best animated movie that we saw this year. Vito.
For me, it was actually a two-parter. They're clearly called Part 1 and Part 2. It was Batman: The Long Halloween. I don't know if you guys know, but DC has been making very, very good superhero movies on the sly in animated form, and they've been doing this for decades. And they have so many of them, and of course, they're varying quality from what I would call utter dreck, where the creators should be like arrested and put away for a long time, to stuff that is actually like almost sublimely good. Some of the best iterations of comic book characters that we've ever seen in motion. And Batman: The Long Halloween is not that, but it is very, very good. This is an adaptation of the I'm going to use your word, Mike, the seminal graphic novel of the same title. And I remember reading this when I was younger, and it changed everything in a really big way. So if you visit this material, you'll see a lot of where we talk about Two-Face or we talk about the Calendar Man, any of these villains, you'll see how much influence this had on our common perception of them. And for this movie to come out, this epic 2-part movie, which is 3 hours long in total, really does justice to that. And it's very good, very exciting. The second part is not as good as the first part, but I think it's still the second best Two-Face that we've seen. And I think that's really special. And it's a really compelling origin story.
That's awesome.
That's the best animated thing I saw this year. Apologies to everyone who thought I was going to say something they knew about,
including your co-podcasters.
Indeed,
I didn't know this movie existed. That's cool to know that a Batman movie exists.
It's on HBO Max.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh cool. So we can go check it out at any time.
Yes. Almost all the DC Comics animated films are on HBO Max.
That does make sense. I have been watching Justice League from the 2000s with my son.
Oh yeah.
He's been liking it. He's been digging it.
It's a fun show.
His favorite is Batman. He really just wants to see more Batman. Yeah.
Of course. How about you?
My favorite animated movie of the year was Encanto. I don't know. I didn't see that many animated movies, maybe like 5 or 6. I guess that's more than the average adult without kids. But Encanto was at the top. I thought that was a really well made production. Yeah. Paw Patrol was my least favorite. I know that's not a thing.
It was a movie. It was a movie. It was in theaters.
Yep. Yeah. My kids saw their first movie in theaters, or at least that they really remember, as Paw Patrol. And they loved it. And I just saw that they were making a toy advertisement commercial for an hour and a half.
That you paid for.
That we paid for. We paid for a very long advertisement for a new base, new cars for all the dogs, and a new dog.
Oh,
my
shit.
word.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible. It's like the 90s are really making a comeback. Remember when everything was a toy back then? It's happening again.
It is. In a big, big way. Yeah. What was your favorite animated movie of the year, Mike?
I only saw 2 animated movies that came out this year. the Mitchells versus the Machines, which I watched just in the last couple days, and Luca a while ago. And of the two, I'd say Mitchells versus the Machines is better. I didn't love it. It was like there were things about it that were great, but it's not. I don't know. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It's not something I would show my children. Just
Yeah.
It's like that movie. I love fast movies. I love movies that are like caffeinated, maybe cocained up. But that movie has the energy of a small child on 2 liters of Mountain Dew and a severe case of ADD.
Yeah.
Like, it's too fast.
I think of that movie as like a YouTube movie. Like that thing came from and seems to fit very well as like an average YouTube video. Like, or when I go on a YouTube binge, that is the experience that I get with this movie.
Yeah, and that makes sense, like based on the movie. And I mean, so the movie is about like a girl going off to college, so it's an older animated movie for sure. And like the main character is the whole like premise is really funny. There's a lot of it is a lot of fun
really funny. It's really funny.
It is really funny.
There's a lot of great jokes in it, and a lot of stuff that's like, I don't know. Remember in like 5 years ago when everyone made fun of old people for not being able to use computers well?
Yeah.
It did that a lot, and that's just like not. I don't think that's really that true anymore.
No.
Yeah, and also the movie felt like it's going to date itself very poorly in like 10 years. It felt very of its time. And I will say that I think I used to say Mitchell's and the Machine versus the Machines was better than Luca, but now Luca has become a staple in my household.
Oh yeah?
Oh, weird.
My son loves it. He just always wants Luca on.
Jesse, didn't we talk about this when Luca came out? Like how this might happen? Luca's going to become like a quiet classic.
I think for us it has, and it's like, man, I've come to really enjoy it. Like that is the one that they have on. It's just like, I kind of like that movie. I think that's fine. Yeah, have that on. It doesn't drive me nuts. It's never irritating. And also it's got some really nice moments in there.
It's a lovely movie.
Yeah. It's a very nice, like summer fun movie of summer friendship. And it's kind of like a modern day Fox and the Hound, unexpectedly at the end. Yeah, it's got the same sort of vibe.
Not nearly as crushingly bleak, which I do appreciate.
Yeah. No, it's very hopeful. Very much about like growing up and stuff. Yeah. It's grown on me. But Encanto is still my favorite.
Cool.
But what they do both have in common is no one wants to talk about Bruno.
Oh yeah, my son has started saying Silencio Bruno sometimes.
Yeah.
When he's doing something like, no, you don't need to say that phrase. you need a Bruno in your head.
You need to have some fear, you crazy child.
Also, I don't know when else I'm ever going to be able to say this about Luca, because this never comes up as topic of conversation. But Bruno, I'm pretty sure that's the other kid's dad. I think that's why he says Silencio Bruno, because he's trying to tell his dad not to tell him what to do anymore. Yeah, just random fact.
You're asking me to remember March. I do vaguely remember this.
So this one of the secondary, the friend's dad, right? It turns out he abandoned his son and he's just been living out on his own. And he's been really at first he kind of wanted his dad to come back, and now he's trying to act like he's competent, like he can do anything, even though it's very clear he has no experience in the world. So I think Silencio Bruno is his way of trying to say
that would totally make sense, because otherwise it's so random, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that name. Yeah,
maybe that's an Italian staple that I don't know about, but that's just a random theory that I had that gave it a little more meaning.
I might like that movie more now. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mike, what was your favorite superhero movie?
I think my favorite one of the year is actually Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Yay! I was very surprised. Shang-Chi. I'm sorry. Shang-Chi. And the Legend of the Ten Rings. I actually really liked that movie. I thought it was really good. Very surprised that it was as good as it was. I was like not into the idea of the rings. Like just thinking about it, I was like, that sounds silly. And I was really just not into a new unknown Marvel superhero coming into the world. I was like, I think they're just trying to Guardians of the Galaxy everybody now, you know? And I was very pleasantly surprised. It was fun. It was funny. It was like there were some complex themes. The rings were badass, like
Hell yeah.
super cool. Everything about it was great.
Also, watching Tony Leung as the bad guy just like lay the beat down on some fools was awesome. Holy cow, he's good.
Yeah. It was. I thought it was cool, and I liked sort of the dynamics of the world were fascinating. Like it was very cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Marvel movies are getting some emotion, just a little bit of emotion in there.
Just a little bit.
It's like it's like they have human characters on screen or something, and they're finally recognizing that.
I like this time too. It wasn't just that the son has daddy issues, but the daughter does as well. I like that there was actually some more dynamism, except for like, you know, son's pissed at dad. It's like, no, whole family's got beef with you.
And he's actually the bad guy.
Yeah. Very clearly.
He's kind of just bad. Like,
yes.
Like they kind of redeem his character, but it's like he's mostly bad.
Yep, it's great. He's the bad guy.
I like that they didn't try to make him a good guy at the end, but I did like how they showed why he was that way. Was what I think I appreciated the most about that movie. I dug it. I have to say my favorite superhero movie was actually, it's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah!
Zack Snyder's Justice League. I was talking to my wife about it, and we just remembered back when it came out on HBO Max, and the fun that we had where Zack Snyder just said, you know what, these are gods, all right? They're just gods. That's what we're doing. It's Greek gods. I hope you can catch up with us. And I like that it was so wild and crazy. I like that it was different and unique, and I like that it was long. Honestly, I don't think all of it worked, but there were some moments where, as a fan of the DC comic world, I was really surprised by it. I really loved, and I am sad. I am a little sad that we're not going to get more of this flavor of DC stuff, because this was at least such a counterpoint to Marvel that I felt like every kind of the comics world was being shown. But as a fitting epitaph, it is bloated, overlong, loud, violent, and it's a nice tombstone. I think. Let it rest in peace. Don't tell me that it restarts. That will make me like it less. I like knowing that it's over. But yeah, that was my favorite one. How about you, Jesse? Is your favorite Justice League?
Oh, no. No, it's Spider-Man No Way Home. I had such a blast with that movie. It was a huge blast in the theater. I don't think objectively it's a good movie in any way. But it's so much fun.
People are so angry right now.
But like, honestly, it was one of those movies where I sat in the theater and my brain started to come on some parts. Like, why is this happening? Oh wait, nope. I'm just gonna enjoy this movie, and I did. I did just enjoy it because if you turn off your brain completely, don't try to think about the plot. Don't think about the plot structure. Don't try to think about why characters are doing the things that they're doing, and just kind of let yourself be taken up in a nostalgic flow. Because that's kind of all it is. It's a giant nostalgia fan service movie. Just be a fan. Just go to this movie and be a fan for a while, and it's a good time. And
I think I agree 100%. I think I agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I have tons of issues with the movie. It did have some nice emotional moments, some big emotional moments rather. Felt almost jarring at times, but it did work on me. I felt something for Tom Holland.
I felt bad that he's getting kicked around so much. I was like, oh, that sucks for you, dude.
It does.
That's a bummer.
It does. It finally feels like you might actually be a real Spider-Man, which is something I felt was lacking in the other two. So that was cool.
What did you say, Mike? You're like, it only took them 6 hours to set up the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely had that feeling too. Yeah, but it was just a fun, huge, zany, wild blockbuster.
Yeah. I have huge issues with what this means for the world, like at large. And I have huge issues with what this means for entertainment. But as an isolated, in a vacuum movie, there were moments it really did work. Moments that really sold me.
Yeah, same.
And when I think back on that movie, I'm not angry, I guess.
It had the best ending of any Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yes.
I'm going to say that.
It did. Yeah. That was a good ending.
Only took him 3 movies. We're so down on these. I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you grew up with these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, or even if you didn't, but you just happen to prefer them, it's just not our cup of tea in most shapes or fashions.
But I am saying I enjoyed it. I have it over Shang-Chi and Justice League and what's the other one that I saw? Black Widow?
Right.
Is that it?
Yes.
I never saw the Eternals.
Did you see Suicide Squad?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, never saw Suicide Squad.
But also, none of us have seen Eternals, unfortunately. I'm waiting on that Disney Plus.
Yeah. I will watch it.
Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah. Maybe getting off of superheroes then to something wildly different. Let's talk musicals, okay? There was actually a good amount of musicals that came out this year, which is weird. That's a weird thing that's occurring, that there's a lot of musicals. I love musicals. I'm super in the bag for them. Even a bad musical, I'm generally like, oh, I don't know. There's a song I liked somewhere. There's an arc that I enjoyed. And a movie musical that I thought I would really not like, that I was not in the bag for about 98% of, was Annette. And the last 2%, yeah, you did.
I've got bingo on my card already.
I knew it was going to be Annette too.
There's just a whole line on my card that's Vito says Annette.
Might not be the last time I say it. And the thing is that this movie, if you want to hear my thoughts more in depth, you can listen back to the My Movie Fix podcast that I did with our good friend and collaborator, Sir. Spoilers, he did not like the movie, and I did. I don't even think I love this movie. I really like what it does. I love the music in particular. I think the story is pretty wonky and all over the place, and it's also really weird. And as far as I know, it's only me and one other person in the world that like it. But that's okay. I really liked it, and it made me sob at the end of it. So that's my favorite musical of the year, is Annette. Which one of you guys had a favorite musical?
Like, just in terms of like musical as, as a musical, as songs that I think are really cool and neat and catchy. I think it was Tick Tick Boom. I didn't really like the movie overall, but I did really like those songs. Are still stuck in my head.
It's 3090. Why?
Oh, that's the opening 3090 is great, and then there's also like This Is Life. Bo, 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 bo. Yeah,
yes,
so good. That's such a fun, energetic. It has such fun, energetic songs throughout. And then also one of my favorites is not on the soundtrack, but it's referencing. I can't remember who the movie is about, but it's referencing that guy's earlier musical. It's the sci-fi musical. One. Yeah, the sci-fi music. Is there anyone who's anyone? I constantly had that tune stuck in my head pretty regularly, and it's I really love the music in that one. That's fun. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too. Tick Tick Boom has been living in my head just as the original musical has. I've just been listening to it all year long, and of course, no movie could live up to the unbearable weight of that expectation.
Yeah,
but I still listen to the songs on the soundtrack and the musical, kind of back and forth, and I love them so much.
Yeah.
Sunday, I love Sunday. The bit about the diner on Sunday, it's gorgeous.
I will say I'm not sure if I'm ever going to watch the movie again, but I will listen to these songs again.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Although I have seen the clip I have rewatched is the therapy bit between him and Vanessa Hudgens. That is amazing. Incredible work.
Yeah. Yeah, where she's almost where they're acting like dolls almost or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that is it's a weird scene. But yeah. Like I want to go and like almost analyze those lyrics. That was really cool.
Yeah. I've had fights that sounded like that too. Mike, what about you?
I only got to 2 musicals this year. As the year was winding to a close, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't get to Tick Tick Boom. I didn't get to West Side Story. But I did see Annette, and I saw In the Heights. The 2
Oh,
of the two,
no.
In the Heights. I'm sorry, I actually enjoyed In the Heights. Annette was just it's just one too many for me. I couldn't make it work. I couldn't enjoy that movie at all. And I don't know. Can the Sparks Brothers documentary work? Can that be a musical?
Yes,
There's a lot of
why
music
not?
in it.
You
Okay,
could.
that is my favorite musical.
That I was just watching a little bit of it before we were doing the show. It's just I love that so much. Like when they open and they're like, "What is Sparks?" and they go, "Sparks is a band." who is Sparks? We are Sparks. It's so funny to me. Sorry, go
amazing. Ahead. Yeah, no. It's a fantastic documentary about people that have influenced all the music that you've ever listened to, and you have never heard of. And it's made by Edgar Wright, who makes amazing movies, and he put together a documentary that's very, very enjoyable. Even though I'm not like a huge, like I can't listen to Sparks that much.
Do you have a favorite Sparks track?
No, probably not.
Oh, that makes me sad. Oh.
Yeah, you do though.
I have a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. What is like your not favorite song of theirs? Because isn't it every one of them?
The Rhythm Thief is my least favorite song from them. That song annoys the hell out of me.
But it's also amazing.
It's amazing they did it. Doesn't mean it's fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Best comedy for me. The best comedy that I saw this year was The Suicide Squad. I don't think this movie was very good because I think it's let down by its final 30 minutes pretty hard, which are aggressively violent and also kind of boring. Because then everyone turns into zombie things, and then there's one big zombie thing you have to take down, and that's when the bad guys are a mindless horde. I really hate that. It just turns me off immediately. I think it's lazy.
Yeah.
But everything up to that was really working for me. I thought it was, even though maybe I think 3/4 of the jokes work, but that's great because there's at least 5 jokes every minute.
Yeah.
And there's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen is in the beginning of this, where they minor spoilers for the beginning of the Suicide Squad. The squad is gearing up. They're getting in the plane. They got to go do the suicide mission. Pete Davidson's there for some reason, right? There's a giant life-size weasel man who's there, who can't talk, who's just been licking the wall. And they get ready to go, and the door comes down, and everyone has to jump out in the water. And the weasel jumps out and immediately starts drowning. And they say, "Did no one check to see if Weasel could swim?" And then he just dies. He just drowns because he can't swim. And it's so funny. They have to drag his body up on the shore. I was laughing till I cried, and I thought this is a really funny movie, even if it's it's pretty bawdy and it's incredibly violent. But I thought it was a good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite kind of was Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Oh yeah.
This is hilarious. That was 2021, right? That came out this year. Yeah. It was hilarious. It was a great time. 2 40-something-year-old women
best friends.
Best friends from I think they're
Soft
from
Rock,
the Midwest.
Arkansas.
Are they really from Arkansas?
I thought that's what it was.
They sound like they're from Wisconsin.
I know.
And they haven't left their small town in years, and they go to Florida, and it's great. It's fantastic. It's got silly Spy Kids stuff in it that doesn't matter, and a whole lot of stuff that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a screwball comedy. Yeah. It's great. I love it. Jamie Dornan's in it.
I really loved every moment of that movie when the women are together, when they're best friends and they're just like talking over each other, kind of reading each other's minds, responding to what somebody said before they even talk, finishing each other's sentences. That dynamic is really funny. And that got me for the first half. But yeah, the second half, when it becomes more of a Austin Powers sort of thing, I don't like that as much. And then they were not together. And that really is like, well, I think the magic's kind of lost for me. But it's still a very funny time. I really like that.
I loved it all the way through. And I mean, it's got like the fantastic like moral of the story is ending, which is just ridiculous. Tommy Bahama shows up. It's great. It's great.
Jamie Dornan has an entire musical number.
Yes.
It does.
You're stealing from my funniest moment of the year, Vito.
Brief correction. It's Soft Rock, Nebraska.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
How about you, Jesse? Is yours also Barb and Starbra?
I think it's like a 3-way tie because strictly.
Oh, so just like the movie.
So just like the movie. It's yeah, Barb and Star. That was the only strictly comedy movie I think I've seen this year. So it's up there, and it's also just it is a screwball good time. But then also I think there were some. I think a lot of movies are becoming more funny now. So a lot of movies are basically still a comedy. So like I'd say Spider-Man No Way Home had lots. I laughed a lot in that movie. In fact, I think that's one of the more appealing aspects of it. That and the nostalgia. Otherwise, I don't think that movie works. And also Nobody. I laughed a lot during Nobody. I thought
Nobody was really very funny.
It's
very
super
funny.
Hilarious. Is it a comedy though? Like Nobody isn't a comedy. I mean, it's really funny, but there's so many.
I think you could
people
say
at the end.
I think you could say it's like a dark comedy, a dark action comedy. Yeah,
okay.
Because like the next genre from action, it's not a drama, you know.
Yeah, and is Thor Ragnarok a comedy? I don't know. I guess some people. I don't. It's just an MCU genre, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those tend to be comedies.
Yeah.
Like that's a staple of MCU at this point. You have to be funny.
Yeah.
Or at least try to be funny.
That's better. That's better.
You have to have the corporate approved joke structures throughout your movie. In order
you do, yeah.
An MCU
you must undercut. You have to undercut every single moment of dramatic tension. Every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. All right. Let's. So jumping off of best comedy, Mike, what is the funniest moment for you from any comedic thing you saw?
I mean, Jamie Dornan had 2 song and dance routines in movies this year, and his best one came in Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. It was hilarious. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I loved it. Go watch the movie. I mean, well, it's a little adult, but it's hilarious.
If you're over the age of, I don't know, whatever, it's great.
Yeah. Love that song that he sings. It's great.
It is a wild time. I will see that.
Yeah. What about you, Jesse? What's your comedy moment of the year?
Honestly, it was in Spider-Man.
Nice.
There were these 2 jokes. They're both about Electro. That really just had me laughing. There's this one part where it's Electro and Sandman talking about their origins, and then Electro explains it as the place where I worked at. They were experimenting with electricity created by living organisms, and then I fell into a vat of electric eels. And Sandman goes, "You're kidding. I fell into a super collider. Damn, gotta be careful where you fall." That's so stupid. It's so stupid that you have to be careful where you fall. And that's a line. I thought, that really got me.
I just love that so much of superhero powers is like dependent on just pure chance.
You know, gotta be careful where you fall, man. That's immoral here. And then also Andrew Garfield, his line later in the movie, he's like, Max, he was like the sweetest guy ever before he fell into a vat of electric eels.
You see, they were really doubling down on it. They're really doubling down.
Oh shit, that was really funny. Anything digging into Electro as a character from that movie, I thought was hilarious. I don't know. Yeah, that was my really funny laugh out loud moment of the year in the theaters with everybody. Yeah, that was fun.
I remember in my screening, everyone did lose their minds multiple times in that movie. Like there was laughing, there was crying, like there was some extreme emotions occurring around me.
Oh yeah, it was a little too much for me. Yes. I didn't quite get that, but I did laugh at those parts. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. No, I laughed a good amount too. I'm trying to remember some of the jokes. I did remember those ones. There's a couple I don't know. I'm not going to waste airtime trying to remember them. My favorite one, I'm sure as you guys know, because I've repeated it several times through this year because it never stops being funny. It's hello, I am dog. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. It's from, it's from the Mitchells versus the Machines, and it's just a cutaway joke. It's like 10 seconds long, and I cried. I was doubled over in my living room. I was sobbing. I had to rewind it multiple times. It's just a joke where they're like, and then we help dogs learn how to speak, and it goes to a dog who has like a little collar on, and then he just says in this really like apologetic voice, just, "Hello, I am dog."
Yeah.
You know what I think the funniest thing about this joke is, though, is that Vito just like every month at some point he remembers this joke and just like goes hysterical. He cannot talk anymore. He can't communicate with people. It's amazing. It's amazing because like that's not even the funniest joke in the movie, Vito. There's funnier jokes.
I know, but I don't remember them. I don't remember those jokes. That's just the only thing, and I love it. I love it so much.
It's awesome.
And it's so rare that I get to get like the intense giggles, and that one, it just does it for me, man. I got to be careful with how I use it because I want it to last me until I find the next one,
Yeah.
But that brings us back into a movie that we've already talked about in our best action category. For me, that's Nobody. Nobody, hands down, best action I saw this year. Holy shit! I did not know Bob Odenkirk could do this. And I did not know that I would be getting the next film from the director of Hardcore Henry would be a movie not only like light years better, but also is not nearly so like schizophrenic in how he uses his camera. But the fights felt grounded. They felt real. It was just such a blast. I just had a blast watching this movie. And I loved it. I loved it a lot. So Nobody had the best action for me.
Yeah. I think that's a great pick. It was between Nobody and No Time to Die for me, and I've got No Time to Die as the best action. That felt like old school. It felt like old school big blockbuster action that I normally look for in action movies. Sometimes, like Nobody did have. I felt like it was more violent, and action movies tend to be moving that way, but sometimes I just want the big stunts, the big explosions, and No Time to Die has that in spades. Yeah.
The stairwell sequence from the latter part of that movie was amazing.
Oh yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. He looks so tired,
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a stairwell sequence in the whole like in the whatever that island is, and in that little factory that they're in, and there's also like the whole part in, is it Italy or Greece? It's Italy, right? Where he's like swinging from the top of a bridge down to the bottom, like
right,
racing around with his girlfriend to get her to a train. Yeah,
we got car chases in cities and in the mountains and
and world hopping, traveling, and he goes to Cuba at one point,
exploding graves.
Yeah, just a wild, crazy, explosion-filled time. Love it.
No one expects the grave to blow up. They're already dead.
That was definitely. I had a hard time. I was going number one, number two, and today I just happened to say Nobody. But yeah, the No Time to Die action is incredible.
Yeah.
That's funny. I have both of those on my list, and I've got one more actually.
The Green Man.
I don't know if this really counts. I think it counts. The Harder They Fall. I think The Harder They Fall. I think that's an action movie. It's a Western. It's actiony. It's
so much action.
Awesome movie. It's so much fun. I loved it. And that's what matters the most is what I love. Because this is my list, damn it. Oh my gosh, it was just great. The gunslinging and the fighting, the battle at the end, it's all fantastic.
The battle at the end is insane. Like it's really insane.
It almost goes too far. It might last a little too long, but it's still just really fun.
Yeah, I agree. Solid picks, guys.
Nice.
But pivoting away, because I don't think any of those are going to be the answer to this next question. Best drama. For me, the best drama I saw this year was The Last Duel. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie like that deals with such complicated subject matter and has so much. It's so much going on inside of it, and the characters are constantly, we're seeing through these fractured narratives what might have happened until we finally get the truth at the end. I thought it was gorgeous, and I felt challenged by it. I felt like I was watching a movie for adults, which is like what the best dramas always make me feel. I didn't feel talked down to at any time, and when I walked away, I just felt like, finally, when movies were for adults, damn it, bring this time back. Not everything has to have a wink and a nod, and this one doesn't.
Yeah.
The Last Duel for me was the best drama I saw.
That's awesome.
Yeah. In terms of, I think I'm with you, Vito. In terms of just like real drama, like real crazy shit happening, and adults all having very different viewpoints, and it getting that across very well in this movie. And then like coming to a dramatic conclusion. This movie did that the best. That movie has like real drama, like everything you can think of thrown in there.
Scorching.
Yeah.
It's really something. That'll definitely come up later for me. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. For me too. Yeah.
Is that your favorite drama too?
Yeah,
I think so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and mine too. It's a trifecta.
Hell yeah.
Dad's drama trifecta. Hooray!
I love it.
That's
and
great.
This is really, this category is where I was so sad that we were missing out on some of the movies, because I principally missed out on dramas, and that really sucks. But we tried our best. And I think The Last Duel is really good, even if those movies are really good too. So
yeah, it's just
I'm going to say, like, there's
thing.
other movies that could go here, and I didn't see musicals because I was like, I'm going to see these dramas, and I saw some that like could fit in here. But like, is in terms of like just a solid, like you said, like an adult movie. Like, this is a movie for adults, not like an adult film, but like a grown-up movie. Like, this is just, it's the sort of thing that I haven't seen in years, where it's like this plot that's serious, and things are serious, and it goes from here to here, and it's big, it's important. It's awesome. Yeah. And that's why. The other things that like I might have liked better or whatever, there's other reasons for that.
Yeah.
But
in terms of drama, this gets the drama spot on.
Yeah.
And it's so well crafted, and sometimes I feel like a well crafted drama is just like, I don't know, like popping a giant balloon or something and just watching it all explode.
Yeah.
And right. That happens. This movie's so juicy. Like,
I don't think there's a single scene that this movie shouldn't have or could not have.
Yes.
Like everything here, like a single scene or a single extra. Like everything here is necessary, and that's amazing because there's so much of it. There's so many extras. There's so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. Ridley Scott is awesome.
A lord, an 80-year-old lord, cranking out 2 movies this year. Oh my gosh!
Which is also why I was disappointed I didn't see House of Gucci, because I like The Last Duel a lot, and it's like Ridley Scott, Adam Driver again, and I'm not going to see it.
What a year for Adam Driver! Holy shit!
I know.
Which brings us to the biggest surprise of the year for me. Again, it was Annette. For this question, the biggest surprise movie of the year, the movie you were most surprised you liked, for me was Annette, because I knew nothing about this. I didn't see a trailer. I just knew Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard. I didn't even know who Sparks was at this point. And I watched it, and I didn't even like it until the end. So at the end, I'm just like, I don't know what happened to me with this movie. But yeah, because I was ready to go with that 2 stars, man. I was ready. This movie lags really hard in the middle. And I was like, what did I get myself into? There's a doll now. Why is there a doll? But yeah. My biggest surprise that I liked was Annette. How about Mike? Were you surprised at how much you didn't like it?
No. No. Wait, is this for like our biggest surprise just in general, or just
we have biggest disappointment next?
Oh,
so.
Okay. Oh, the biggest surprise I liked was The French Dispatch. I will have more to say about that later. Okay. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I did. That's where we'll leave you
all right.
for now, and more to come. Stick around, guys.
Oh,
this is gonna get interesting.
Very good. How about you, Jesse?
Yeah, my biggest surprise was Stillwater. I went in expecting it to be like an adult version of Taken, or like, a more political version of Taken or something like that, or more of like I don't know, almost like a docudrama, if you know what I mean, because it's supposedly based off true events, even though it's not really the case. Instead, it's something completely different, and I kind of left not knowing what I had seen. So it was a surprise, and then I can say I like that movie.
Very cool.
I'll probably talk about it later.
I missed it. I did not get a chance. I wish I had.
It's
I don't want to make.
It's surprising.
I don't want to make you spill the beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess that brings us to the biggest disappointment of the year. Yeah. For me, it was Old.
Wait, you had expectations of that movie?
Which tells you how bad it was. So I've been out on M. Night for a little bit now. I used to like him a lot. I still like a lot of his movies, but recently really had a hard time with the fella. And I was wondering with Old, is he going to kind of get back to his roots a little bit again? Get back to his roots again, because he has to keep doing this, then he keeps going off and doing other things, and they suck. So this is like a Twilight Zone premise. You go to the beach makes you old. Oh, how do we get out of the old beach? Who knows? Why? I don't know. No, to all the people who enjoyed this, I'm very happy for you. To all the people calling this a masterpiece, I don't think so, and I think that that's the wrong take to have. The bad movie. In my opinion, this is the worst movie I saw this year. Abysmal. I have nothing good to say about it. Not even a performance.
Worse than Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead was fun at many points.
At some points.
It had some enjoyable moments. Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right.
I didn't like... There was one moment near the end of Old that I liked, but it just did not belong in the movie whatsoever. Yeah. I was like, oh, I like this because it's so radically insane. And then it was over in like 30 seconds.
So like one YouTube channel that we watch a lot, I'm just telling the audience, is Pitch Meetings. And I saw the pitch meeting for Old. There's one part where he pitches to the producer that he's going to have 6-year-olds grow up and then have sex with each other. And then the 6-year-old's going to get pregnant and give birth to a child. And the producer just goes, I could have been a doctor.
That is a thing that happens, and then we get to watch as the baby dies because it couldn't eat enough to sustain its growth on the old beach. That's a thing that does happen. It's very unpleasant.
That's awful.
It's bad.
Okay. Well, that is just a huge bummer.
Old. Don't watch it.
Okay. I'm not... Yeah. I honestly only watched the pitch meeting so that way I could understand what this movie was, and then I saw that and I'm like, okay, I'm never seeing this.
The movie is they go to the beach and they get old. One of them's a racist. And there should be no more airtime devoted to this movie.
Okay,
Jesse, how big? What let you down this year?
For me, it was Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let me down in a big way. So I
stabbed right in the heart.
I had not watched many DCU movies. I had seen Superman and Wonder Woman, and I didn't like Superman at the time. But I went back and rewatched it just so I could watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I really enjoyed the Man of Steel.
Yeah,
what a weird take on superheroes, and I was digging it. I enjoyed the theme and everything that was being presented. And then I saw Batman vs. Superman, the director's cut, for the first time.
3 hours, baby.
You know what? I enjoyed that too.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good time.
Pretty good.
And then I got here, and I just thought it was super bland. I was enjoying the themes from the other two, and like the idea of like, I don't know, a god that nobody wants, and then specifically that Batman doesn't want. And he just beats the shit out of him. And then it's like Bruce Wayne kind of becomes a little bit of a zealot in this one and just wants to recruit people. The Flash is a battery. the cyborg is a glorified hacker who that's all they use him for, even though he's the most powerful superhero I've literally ever seen on screen. There's a few good moments, but I don't think it was worth the 4 and whatever hours that I devoted to this. So yeah, my biggest disappointment. And also just, I felt it was bland and very gray. It's like I didn't get a lot of style and theme, and I was I don't know, like I was expecting more.
I'm sorry to hear it didn't work for you. That sucks.
Yeah, what can you do, Zach?
Maybe just hang it up, Zach. Maybe just hang it up. I don't know. After the Army of the Dead, we are all out on you.
I really am. Like at this point, I'm just like, I got disappointed pretty heavily twice in a row.
What do you think about his new not Star Wars movie that's coming to Netflix?
Oh yeah, he wrote a Star Wars movie. Yeah. And then he's like, wait, I can't do Star Wars? It's pretty easy to take out the Star Wars elements. Like, what are you talking about?
It's really weird that they're like promoting it this way too. Like, I feel like there's going to be a major like lawsuit in here eventually.
Is what's it called?
I don't know.
Not Star Wars.
Not Star Wars by Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder's not Star Wars.
But exactly, that'll be the title. Zack Snyder's not Star Wars. Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Hi, Luke. Starring Walker.
It's good.
Join the Jedum Temple.
The Jedum Church, Jesse. Church. Come on. Temple. Too close.
Oh, we gotta defeat the synth. Gotta go defeat the synth.
Okay, my biggest disappointment was the card counter. I was pissed off about the card counter. I'm still pissed off about the card counter. That should have been a good movie, and it wasn't, and it really makes me angry.
There was no reason why.
There's
no reason why it shouldn't have been a good movie. There's no reason why it shouldn't have been, and it is not good. I'm sorry to all the people again who are like influential critics who are like really loving this movie. I don't see what you're seeing. I don't know if what you're seeing is here.
Fascinating things that it does. Like this, there's things that he does with cinematography that are really cool. Oscar Isaac is really great, and it just does not work at all. Yeah.
I can't think of one thing that I liked in the movie. And I think everyone is miscast, with the exception of Willem Dafoe. Honestly, I even think Oscar Isaac is miscast. I think he needs to be older. I think he's too young.
Well,
I think the core cast, Oscar Isaac, Tiffany Haddish, and Ty Sheridan, are all terribly cast, and they just need to try again. Willem Dafoe was great, but
he always is.
He's always great.
Yeah.
He was the best part of the movie when he was on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's not very often.
Yeah, big disappointment. Could have been something.
But then, Mike, I have to ask you. I have to turn around. So, if we're talking about the best performance of the year now, this next question of ours, is it Willem Dafoe in the card counter?
Close. This is hard, man.
So we've said it can be an actress or an actor or both. It's dealer's choice.
There's a lot of good acting this year. There's a lot of stuff that's really good. I mean, Oscar Isaac in the card counter does a great job. And that was something that was really surprising about the movie, was that it was such a shitty movie and he was such a good actor, and did such a good job in this role. But do
we need to circle back?
Yeah, you guys go first. Okay. I've got too many names here.
Yeah, do you have one, Jesse, ready to go?
You know, it's funny that you're saying the acting is so great, because I'm looking at the acting and I think it's good, but not like really great. I have a hard time thinking of something like particularly great. I do love Nicolas Cage in Pig. I'm not sure if that's him being a great actor, or rather he fits the role better than I have ever seen him fit a role before. But I think that works.
He's really very haunted. He's really haunted in that movie, yeah.
Yeah. And just like the utter outcast, which Nicolas Cage can play very well because he has a hard time playing normal people really well. So to see him like kind of just out there, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And also when he yells at the kid, yeah, that's the most Nicolas Cage thing I've seen in a very long time.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I will shout out Matt Damon, not for any one movie, but every movie I've seen him in this year has been pretty consistent. He was in No Sudden Move.
Yep.
He's not particularly great.
Oh yeah,
he's there,
right.
and he's unexpectedly there, and you forget that he's there, but he plays it really well. He's just like a businessman or whatever. And then he was in Stillwater, wildly different. Just playing like a sturdy, straightforward dad. And then also in The Last Duel, where he plays
very good in The Last Duel.
Yeah,
very
good.
Oh
very
God,
good.
he's amazing.
And super different than anything I've ever seen him do before.
Yeah, I think,
yeah, I don't even know how to classify that. Like mullet man, not king, but something of a castle. I can't even remember what his title is, but he's just
he's a knight. He actually gets to be a knight eventually.
That's right. He's a knight. And he owns. I don't know how feudalism works, but but he owns an area within his castle. I don't know, and he's. We'll probably talk about it later, but yeah. Just shout out to that guy for being so wildly different and very consistent this year.
Yeah, I agree. He's had a great year. I mean, it was a spoiler, I think, for No Sudden Move when it came out. I think that movie's been completely forgotten now. But it was so surprising to me, like watching it day and date on HBO Max, and then he's just there, and I was like, "You just interstellared me again, Matt Damon." Perfect. My best performance of the year was Ana de Armas in No Time to Die. I was so hoping you guys wouldn't say it, because Ana de Armas in No Time to Die was amazing. Like, it was, for me, it was the best part of the movie. And it made me so angry that they just didn't decide to just make this the movie. Because the movie, like, came alive when she was there. And I've never seen her be so charming as, like, a kind of a bumbling but secretly genius, like, secret agent. And the relationship, like playing off with Daniel Craig, it really evokes the Knives Out relationship they have. Like, there's a moment of like, will they, won't they? And she shuts it down really quickly. Yeah. I like how much she drinks, and the action scene is really kick ass. I don't know. I had some of the most fun I've had in a theater this year in that scene, and I was really sad when she was off the screen again. I was like, well, what was even the point of that? Why? That was so good. Bring that back.
Yeah,
I thought she was incredible.
I honestly, I felt like the whole scene was there so that in all the ads they could show her in that dress, and in all the trailers, because that's pretty low cut, and so you got to have a Bond girl who's absolutely sexy. And frankly, having a mom as a Bond girl is not very sexy, so she's the only choice there.
Hey, step back, step away from Léa Seydoux here, dude. Come on. I mean, it's possible. But I had the best time that I've had in a while, and I found her wildly charming, and I think she was having the best time of anyone in that movie.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that was my favorite. That was the best in my opinion. I don't know, and I picked her over Dev Patel, so that should tell you something.
Wow. Oh yeah, Dev Patel.
Yeah,
that was a really good role. Yeah,
great. All right, let's burst through these last two questions. Last question.
Wait. I think I've come to it. I think I've come to my best. My best. It's Saoirse Ronan's eyes in The French Dispatch. That's what it is.
I'm sorry. Was that a name?
Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse. No. That's a joke. That's a joke. You guys didn't get her eyes. Like, when you see her eyes.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
No,
so I just watched the movie Spencer last night.
Right.
And I've just been sitting with it. And it's a weird movie. Did either of you guys see it?
No, I missed it.
Kristen Stewart does something in it, and it's different. And I'm left wondering if it's the best acting I've ever seen or the worst. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
have
you ever experienced that? Yeah, it's probably neither. Like, but it was very impressive coming out of Kristen Stewart. So I'm gonna say, you know what, Kristen Stewart, you get my vote this year.
Very cool.
Wow, that is a left field pick. All right.
Yeah.
She might be in line for the Oscar this year. You never know. I hope to get to that movie before we get to that conversation.
Yeah.
But now, so we've mentioned a bunch of movies. Some of them might be on our list. Some of them definitely are not. And I just have to ask: does anyone have any runner up before we get into this? You got one that you just really kind of wanted in the 10, but just couldn't do it.
So I it's not one that I kind of wanted in the 10, but was left out, which is The Green Knight, mostly because of the rewatchability factor. Anytime, even though I like this movie, I still like thinking and talking about it, but anytime I thought of sitting down to watch the movie again, I remember being really bored and really just not wanting to do it. So I left it out of the top 10 because I think rewatchability is kind of a factor.
Very much so.
With my favorite 10 movies of the year.
Sometimes there can be like that thing where the movie you saw was so important or it shook you so deeply that like it has to be in the top 10. Like not the Slash Film Cast, the Film Cast in their top 10. Jeff Kanata names one that he says he'll never be able to watch again. And I would have a really hard time just personally putting a movie in the top 10 that I would never want to watch again. I can understand if it's something that seems so important. Like if this was the year that Schindler's List came out, for example. You'd really want to make that the number one movie. Maybe just because of like sheer cultural importance or anything like that. But when I make lists, I try not to that seems a little boring to me. I think it should be a really personal thing. You shouldn't be trying to like make a list for the culture. It's like to what you're saying, Jesse, the rewatchability factor is so personal to each person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be presented. That should be represented. And no one should have to like feel bad that they left off an important movie, quote unquote. Just because, I don't know, you don't want to see it again.
Yeah.
That bummed me the hell out, not watching it again.
Yeah.
I think Belfast for me is a runner-up. It wasn't as good as I hoped it was going to be, but I think that there's some rewatchability to it. So, like, it's the sort of movie that I could watch with my kids, and I think that I'll probably enjoy more seeing it with them as they get a little bit older. There's a lot that's to love about it. It's a story of the family, of a good father and a good mother taking care of their kids in hard times, and that's something worth seeing, and it's done very well throughout. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. There was a lot to like about Belfast, even though it's not going to make it into the top 10 for me.
Very nice. I can't wait to check that out too. Yeah. I'm going to mention two here. Number one is No Time to Die. Did not make it into my top 10. Number I have it at number 12.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to, I think it might be later on in the discussion, and so we might talk about it there. But for me, it just didn't work. It just didn't work completely, and I really wanted it to work a little bit better. I think specifically the villain. I had a problem with the villain. But the other one I wanted to really talk about though is Titan. I had to leave Titan out of the top 10. It's at 11, and honestly, I'm doing it because the content's really extreme. It's a really extreme, very graphic, pretty up movie. And I honestly couldn't recommend it to literally any single person in my life ever. But when I saw it, it made me feel a lot of stuff about family, about the choices that we make when we're younger, about how we have to live with the consequences of our actions, regardless of how shitty the circumstances are. It pulled a lot of deep feelings out of me, even if I will probably never really watch it again, and I can't recommend it to anyone. So that's Titan and No Time to Die off of my list. But number 10, Jesse, my friend, what is your top 10 movie of 2021?
I already mentioned it, and probably last time we're going to be talking about this. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Again, such a great time in the theater. I don't think that'll be replicated, maybe ever, or at least for a very long time. Like I guess I wasn't there for Endgame, but like I haven't been to a movie with that many like gasps, laughs, applause, and just general like commotion and thrill.
Right.
Ever, I don't think. Which was annoying. I realized how much of a dad I was when, like, just a grumpy old. I felt like a grumpy old man sitting in front, being like, there's teenagers in the back. Shut the up, please. I'm just trying to enjoy the fucking movie. But then it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to just. There was some lady who said shh at one point, and I did laugh really hard at that too.
Nice.
But yeah, it did give this feeling that this is like an electrifying experience, and I was along for this crazy ride, which I don't think I'm ever going to get again, and I am really looking forward to showing this to my kids because I know, like, just judging by the 10-year-old's reaction behind me, their minds were blown, and I want that so much for my kids, and this made me really excited to show them superhero movies for. Probably I've been kind of down on them, so I think this.
Wow,
it was cool to have that.
This resurrected in you like the desire to show superhero movies to your kids, or reinforced maybe
not as a genre, but
yeah,
I at least it resurrected like wanting to show a superhero movie to my kid, namely this one or Spider-Man in general, because like seeing all the Spider-Man and just hearing the kids' reactions, like yeah, I want that for my kids. I want that to happen. That's
cool, man. So yeah. I'll break my oath of silence about this movie to say I had the exact opposite reaction walking out of this movie. I felt more cynical about movies in general, about superhero movies than I ever have. And I was like, I'm going to swear this off. But then hearing you talk about like listening to the kids get their mind blown, I was brought back to being a 10-year-old. I would have loved the shit out of this movie. This would have been my favorite movie of the year. Absolutely. Any year, if I had seen this when I was 10 and, 10 years or 20 years from then, I would start a podcast beginning with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, like this is, and so I'm kind of like I'm at this point where I'm like, oh, I'm the old man yelling at Cloud. This is not, like I went to my in-laws house and she's got a lot of younger siblings, some who are like high school and college age. And they're like, oh, did you see Spider-Man? Did you love it? I was like, I don't want to talk to you about, like, did you love it? Tell me why you loved it. That's how I feel about it. And that gives me a little more hope thinking about it like that. Like, you know what? Like kids really do like, this is really something awesome.
Yeah, it is. I will say it is so easy to be cynical about this. If you just take a look at it, like it seems like it was just made. It literally the plot is just an absolute mess, and they shoehorn a whole secondary plot that does not need to happen, which is, I guess, spoilers for No Way Home. The whole multiverse sequence doesn't need to be there in the slightest. Yeah. They basically hit pause when Doctor Strange starts doing the spell, and they continue that story at the very end when he says, "All right, erase everybody's minds," right? Yeah. Like, that's it. Like, the story was on pause, and they had this, basically, it seems like, for marketing opportunities and for franchising, and to include these people in, I'm sure, later films. It's probably going to happen. And that's really sad and kind of shitty. And then also, if you think about the ending, and it's just like, well, like, it almost feels like you've screwed up Spider-Man so bad that you're basically starting over with him, because, like, yeah, I have a lot of issues, and it is really easy to be cynical, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I think all that stuff is valid, but the thing is, it works.
The middle schoolers had a good time. That's what matters.
Like, I had a good time too. That's the thing. Like, I had a good time, even though I know that this is nothing more than a cynical cash grab of a crazy property. And also, the reason why they made everybody forget about Spider-Man is because Marvel's lost the opportunity, or might lose the right for Spider-Man. Like, apparently they had a 3-movie deal.
I think they have another one. I think they ironed out how, like, he's never not going to be with Marvel, but he might be in some Sony stuff in the meantime.
Okay. Yeah, but
did you stick around for the end credits sequence?
Which one? Both
the middle one.
Oh, the middle one. Yeah.
We saw the middle one. Did what happened in the end one?
It's the trailer for the Multiverse of Madness.
It's a trailer. It's literally just a trailer. They've stopped hiding it, and it's just like, all right, full trailer, guys.
Oh.
I will say
I
that some of the biggest laughs I did get from the movie was from, because I just seen again, this is some spoilers here for Spider-Man No Way Home, end credits scene, if that matters to you. But at the end of, also spoilers for Venom Let There Be Carnage. I guess that's already the spoiler. I don't know.
Really care
I'm
about
fucking
that
going for it.
We didn't talk about that in comedies. That was great. That was a great screwball comedy.
But that was one of the funniest things that I saw, though, was just like him super drunk in the bar. And the symbiote is like, she's trying to talk to the bartender about what's going on. And the symbiote's like, let's go skinny dipping. And he's like, no, we're not going skinny dipping, okay? It's after he spends all this time just getting shithoused at the bar, he just gets transported back to his own time. I thought that was great. I laughed.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Okay, cool. Mike, number 10.
Number 10, The Harder They Fall. I love The Harder They Fall. It was fun. It was
we
great.
We matched. We
no
matched.
way.
Number 10 is The Harder They Fall.
Nice.
Yeah.
No way. That's amazing. I talked a little bit about it already. I don't have a lot to say about it other than it's just a ton of fun. Like, it's bloody and it's violent. It's so kind of the premise of it is it's Jonathan Majors' dad gets killed by a bad guy, played by Idris Elba. I don't remember Nat Love is Jonathan Majors. I don't remember Idris. Right? Is Nat Love?
Yeah.
I don't remember Idris Elba's name, but
I don't either.
So the movie is about Jonathan Majors trying to get revenge on Idris Elba, and there's like all this world building. But the idea is that all these black people from the Old West they're real. They're all real characters. The story is not, but there are portions of the legends that are told about them. And it's really cool. The music's really cool. Like the costumes are really cool. There's a lot of color.
So cool. They're amazing costumes. They're like, they are the everything about this movie on a technical level is like jaw dropping. I think the script has some real issues.
Yeah.
I think it's too long.
Yeah.
But it looks great. It sounds great. Everyone looks fantastic. Everyone has so much confidence and charisma walking around this movie.
So much charisma.
It's unbelievable, honestly, that they got so much amazing, specifically black talent to be in this, portraying these real life people in this sort of like made up comic booky legends movie.
So Vito, we were talking about this. A lot of people have compared it to Tarantino.
Yeah.
It is Tarantino-esque, but there's something else, and I'm trying to remember what it was that we were saying. It was a little more like
I don't remember specifically. A big issue that I have with people saying it's Tarantino-esque is that I think what they're saying specifically is that it's very violent and the dialogue can be filthy, and it has a lot of back and forth quipping that happen.
And it's like fast-paced sort of things happening, like in quick like visual jokes, like when they go to the Light Town, and that sort of thing.
But I think it's a different style than that. I don't think it's aping Tarantino. I think that just in a post Tarantino world, if something looks kind of like this, it's just gonna look like that, and people are gonna say that about it. But I don't think it's that as much, and I think that people should not use it in such a derogatory fashion and say that. I think it actually is a pretty unique artistic vision, and I think it's a very unique voice. And I think people, if you think that, give it another shot. I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong, but I don't agree. All right. Number 10, I already shared. It's The Harder They Fall for me. I have nothing else to add. I think it's great. Number 9, Jesse.
Yeah, number 9 was Quiet Place Part 2. Still really enjoy the movie.
What? That's on our top 10 list? What?
You could hear Mike and I's opinions about this movie in a previous episode. I really enjoyed The Quiet Place, and I really enjoyed the sequel. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I've already said everything there is to say about this movie, and and Mike's jaw.
I'm in a quiet place because I'm so stunned.
You're really stunned that this is there? That this could be there?
I'm really glad that you enjoyed it, Jesse.
So I know Vito hates this movie and Mike hates this movie, and I really like this movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Hate's such 9. A strong word.
Hate is a really strong word. There are so many worse movies than this movie.
That is true.
Yeah,
we can all agree on that.
All
I mean, it's not old.
It's
It
not
is not old.
It's basically competent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to listen to our previous episode on Quiet Place and The Quiet Place Part 2, you can go back and listen to those.
Please do.
Please don't.
No, I said no. Please do. I said please do.
It's like, why would you not want people to listen to our own episodes?
It's because Vito wasn't there. Dom joined. Dom loved The Quiet Place Part 2. Too,
So
which
me
is
and
great.
Dom,
Like that, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we both got Spider-Man No Way Home and A Quiet Place Part 2 on our top 10 list.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how about you, Mike? What was your number 9?
Dune! I love Dune. Dune is great. Dune is number 9. We talked about Dune in great detail a few weeks ago. If the second half was there and it was good, this would probably be a lot higher. Love it. It's great. Go check out the other episode.
We talked for a very long time about it.
Yeah. I don't have anything more to say.
I do have to say, this is one that I removed earlier this morning from the top 10 list.
Oh.
Not because I don't think its quality wasn't deserving, but because I felt that if I couldn't rate it, because I don't think
that's right,
because I don't think it's done as a story, I can't in good conscience put it on here. What I am looking forward to doing is when Dune Part 2 comes out in 2023, is making Dune, the 2021 and 2023, my movie of that year. That's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Well, I'm just going to do that anyway.
Very good. Very good. For me, it was quite a bit higher. But yeah, Dune, fantastic movie. Fantastic experience, too. Have to just mention it again. Holy shit. Sitting in the theater watching that movie.
Oh my gosh.
You can listen to a whole episode that we dedicated to that movie with Spicy Dan the Gentleman.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Good friend. My number 9 is Annette.
Of course.
Yeah, it's Annette. For all the reasons mentioned and more, it's a movie that I think is only built for me and Letney to love. It's a small, weird doll of a movie, but I do love it. Movies that make me feel that way are very few and far between, and when they come along, I like to remember them and hold them close. Plus, I think the music's fantastic. But yeah, Annette, if you want to hear me talk about that more, or if you liked it, or if you really hated it, you can go back also to the My Movie Fix pod and listen there. So
this is like the first movie my wife has gotten up and left.
Oh, wow.
She got up and left.
So she shouldn't have rated it then. Because I almost turned it off, but if I had not gotten to the ending, I wouldn't be here today talking about it.
Well, fair.
The ending was everything for me. Drink your water.
Yeah, Mike's just really down on number 9s tonight.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel the judgment with you there, Letney. We got a hipster on our pod. Sorry, Jesse. I was thinking about Letney.
I actually have not seen it. I have no idea.
That's okay. You won't like it. I promise.
I'm sure I won't, which is why I haven't watched it yet.
A hipster?
Yeah.
You're the one who likes Annette.
I feel like that's not a hipster.
Did you call me a hipster? Am I really a hipster?
I called Mike a hipster.
Oh. Are we all hipsters at heart?
No.
Are we human or are we hipster?
Yeah. Remember when you had that weird theory that you took up airtime with, Mike, that was like totally not sure about are we human or are we dancer?
I really hate having my thoughts recorded. That's why I've done it 60 some times now. For hours on end. I did go up and look at the whole dancer thing up, and yeah, it's total BS. He's like, no, it's absolutely dancer. He made it very clear. He was just trying to sell records. He was selling out.
He's been saying it for years. He's not selling records.
Everyone thought it was dancer.
The Killers aren't selling tons of records anymore.
Also, of that song, absolutely not. But Jesse, what's your number 8?
Oh, number 8 is Encanto. I really enjoyed Encanto. It was such a pleasant surprise. Like, I was really let down with Raya and the Last Dragon, and then Luca it was fine. It was fine. And then, like, this was just such a magical experience. Like, I haven't experienced this sort of when people say Disney, you're instantly transported to something magical. Anything can happen. And this movie had that. it had that, and also Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote the songs for this. And while I don't think any particular song is particularly great, I really enjoy the atmosphere of the music. Just, like, these songs don't annoy me, and I felt like it was well put together. Like it ends up being a family drama, like a big family drama, right? And I felt like everybody had some pretty well fleshed out characters and some interesting things happen. It's super magical. It had
Love the house. The house was so cool.
The house is amazing. Anything can happen in this house. People can have jungle rooms out of nowhere. Like, that is so, that was amazing.
Jungle rooms?
Yeah, you walk into a room and the room is bigger than what the house would actually allow for.
Yeah.
The way I describe it is House of Leaves, except fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a perfect description.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Don't find out more. Like, that's just like, that's enough. Because the whole movie's about the house anyway.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's a good time.
I mean, I'm really excited to see it.
I did a blind watch with my daughter there, and my daughter's 4, and she had a great time. Like, there was no moment where she was not engaged with it. No moment that was like too much for her. She just had a really good time and wanted to watch it again later.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids got into it, and I was really into it too. I was like, this is an unexpected drama. I was not expecting this.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? What's your number 8? Is it Encanto?
Limbo! I'm finally going to talk about Limbo on the pod. I love Limbo.
Jesse, this is when we get to be polite to Mike, just like he was polite to us.
You guys can tear me apart. I don't care. This movie was beautiful. It was powerful. It moved me. Bob. No, this I mean, so Limbo was the first movie I saw in the theaters since 2019. And since The Last Jedi. So really different movie. And my wife and I were just like, hey, you know what? Like, things are sort of open. Like, we haven't been on a date with each other without our kids around in 2 years. Want to go see a movie? And we did. And we were like, what's playing? Nothing. There's this movie called Limbo. I don't know anything about it, but like, Limbo's cool, I guess. Let's go see it. And I was just stunned by it. It was made in Scotland. And I have no idea how it got to our little podunk town in the middle of the pandemic. But it did. And we both just really, really loved it. It's got a lot of weird aspects to it, right? There's some absurdist humor, the sort of thing that, I don't know, you see in absurdist movies. There's some Wes Anderson-y-ness to it, but it all kind of came down to the final moment of the movie for me, which just took my breath away. And it made me feel a lot of things. About and it's about the I guess the immigrant experience, or they're not immigrants, they're refugees in the Hebrides and of Scotland, and it's just it's a very powerful movie.
Yeah, and just being stuck in one location
in limbo.
Yeah, I really,
it's hilarious. It's a hilarious movie. I think there's a lot of funny stuff.
I think that's very, very much overselling it.
I think that you're very, very much overselling it.
I think I laughed maybe 3 times. And that's all like the first half an hour. Like I'm so happy you liked it. But if you go in expecting a laugh out loud comedy, Mike, I don't think you can say this is that.
That's true. It's not a laugh out loud, but it's like, you're right. It's not a laugh out loud.
If you have like a quiet, dry sense of humor, this will hit the spots for you.
It's closer to Wes Anderson than it is to I don't know, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one really big joke in it that I did laugh really hard at. It involves a chicken.
Yeah. I'm actually having a hard time remembering this movie a whole lot because I did fall asleep at different periods. I was really tired, and this is not the movie to watch when you are tired, just heads up. But I have liked the movie more like on reflection, especially when thinking about the year 2020. If I have to think of a movie that encapsulates that feeling of being like trapped in a place for a really long time, it's Limbo. The Limbo, that
Yeah.
I feel like I was relating a lot to these characters when if I had seen it like 2 years ago, I definitely wouldn't have.
Oh man, but there's so much more to it than that, though. Like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this in a spoilery way, but I mean, I think that the way the film is structured to make you feel like you're like connected to the main character and like you know what's going on with him. In the final scene, you realize that you didn't know anything about this guy to begin with, and the deep threads of his homeland that he's bringing with him. That it's stunning to me. It's just stunning. And on reflection, I continue to be in shock and awe about it.
Cool.
Very nice. That's number 8, Limbo. Number 8 for me is Don't Look Up. I really like this movie. I would like to be able to say I understand the hatred for this movie. I would like to be able to say that, but I really don't get it. I don't understand. I know that friend of the pod, Sir, or many friends of the pod, I don't know, are going to come after me for this. I mean, they're already scalping me because of Annette. But I seriously don't understand what everyone's beef with this thing is. Everyone's like, it's not a satire. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty close to real life. Like, it's so blunt. I'm like, so movies can be blunt? Like, he didn't break any rules here. This especially touches upon a big anxiety of mine, which is environmental dread. And I know that DiCaprio's talked at length about the sort of movie he wanted to make with this. And I think he and Adam McKay did a really good job. And I'm kind of out on Adam McKay a lot. It seems that no one is mad at him for Vice, which came out a few years ago, gets a Best Picture nomination. Everyone's like, it's so even-handed. It's not. He straight up is like crucifying Dick Cheney in that movie. And I don't understand how anyone was okay with that treatment. I'm not saying Dick Cheney's a good guy, but you can't say that movie is even-handed. And then for Don't Look Up, for everyone to be just upset that the guy that made that movie made this movie, it just makes complete sense. There should be no shock that this is how Adam McKay views the world. He's going to express it in this way. And for this movie, I am on board with that. He touched on all of my fears. He touched on everything that I find myself frustrated about with our current media cycle. He touched on everything that just pisses me off. And he was pissed off about it too. And every other person in that movie was also pissed off. And I loved that. And me and my wife had a blast just seeing all this shit that we've been annoyed at for so long finally be expressed. I loved it. I love Don't Look Up. And again, I don't understand what everyone hated so much about that they gave Vice a pass for. I don't get it. Maybe they just hated Dick Cheney more than they hate the current disaster that could be posing our world. That we don't have a meteor coming at us, but we do have climate change issues. Anyway, that's like my mini rant about it, because I just haven't really met someone else that's really watched it either, which is surprising.
Okay. And I haven't seen it. So the idea is that these two astronomers, they see that there's a meteor coming at us, and then they try to tell everybody about it.
Yep.
Okay.
Imagine like a world like pretty much like ours, but maybe, I don't know, 20% worse in terms of the media cycle, and how the news that a world-ending event is going to happen in 6 months, how that goes over.
Yeah,
and it's got everyone you've ever heard of in this movie. You got Jonah Hill, you got Meryl Streep as the president of the United States, Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence are the two astronomers. I mean, there's so many people. Like, throw a rock and you hit a famous person.
Is it actually a comedy though? Is it like a dark comedy, a dry comedy?
There's nothing dry about it. It could be called a satire. It's a satire. It's a farce. It's a dark comedy. It's a lot of things.
Okay.
Cool. It's also quite long. But I really
had me up until you said it was quite long.
It's 2.5 hours. I liked
that's
it a lot.
Not too long. Yeah.
Kate Blanchett, Tyler Perry, so many people are in this movie.
Yeah.
That's my number 8. Don't Look Up.
Yeah, I gotta say, I am a huge fan of like the 90-minute range. I don't know why more movies work in the 90-minute range, which is why my number 7 is Nobody.
Yeah,
mine too.
Nice, nice. I bet nobody else has that.
Well done.
Yeah, freaking love Nobody. This is just such a. This is a dark comedy in my book, and like I love how it starts out, and I guess spoilers for nobody. I'm just going to talk about it. You think this guy is just an average dad, and it sets itself up to be that way, and then it turns out he's lived a whole crazy life where he has actually done like insane things. Apparently, like he has weird ways of killing people, including mouse traps.
Yeah.
Yes,
That was
so
the most.
great. He's like the MacGyver of killing people.
See, when it got to that scene, that's when it's like, oh, that's really funny.
Yeah,
because like, there's no way he could have known that the people on the other side of the wall the mouse traps were set up on would be there, but they all just happened to hit somebody.
yeah.
And that's when it became clear that it's like, oh, this is like a male fantasy sort of movie, showing how ridiculous it is, and just sticking with it. And not trying to glorify it, not trying to say this is really that awesome, but trying to say, no, it's kind of silly. This will never happen. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed that. Yeah, I enjoy everything about this. Who knew Bob Odenkirk would be this sort of action star?
Nobody.
Whoa!
Because he was a nobody. I mean, also just the dadness of it. Like,
it's so dad. It's so
Yeah.
dad. It is a dad power fantasy, like 1000%. I'm gonna show my stupid family that don't think I'm very good that I can beat ass.
because of a kitty bracelet.
Damn kitty cat bracelet. I love that. I love that someone saw John Wick, and of course, you know, that famously from the trailer, like this dog, it's a gift from my dying wife, right? And then they took it even further. Like the primary motivation for this all kicking off is that some people took his daughter's kitty cat bracelet.
And they didn't even take it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they didn't even take it.
It's even better.
Oh my word. Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's absurd. It's violent. It's funny. It's unexpected. It was unexpected.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Christopher Lloyd randomly showing up, like in a nursing home at first, and then with the shotgun at the end.
Wait, and who's his brother? Who's the actor that plays
his brother?
His brother?
Is somebody that is great.
I can't remember who that guy is.
Hang on. I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
I'm pulling it up. Wait. I'm seeing a lot of names I recognize, but not one that I'm certain is the one. Hang on. Stay with us. We like that airtime. Just gonna keep all this in. Sound of me typing.
Oh yeah, sounds great.
Trying to fill. Oh look, here's the IMDb. All right, we're looking. Christopher Lloyd. Right. Michael Ironside. Is that who you're talking about?
No.
RZA.
Is it RZA?
RZA is in it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
All right, but moving on. So that's Jesse and my number 7. Mike, number 7.
My number 7 is The Power of the Dog.
Oh, wow.
Which may be lower than expected. Jesse, have you seen The Power of the Dog?
Still have not seen Power of the Dog.
Okay.
That and The Harder They Fall were both up there.
Okay. Yeah, The Power of the Dog. Well, nobody was really close to making it on my list. It's not on my list. It's an honorable mention for me. The Power of the Dog, man, the longer I sit with this, the higher it rises. So, you know, this time next year it might be top of the list. Yeah, I mean, I don't, there's so much that's been written and said about it that I don't know if I have much more to say, but man, is it something else. Benedict Cumberbatch is great as a very angry, mean person trying to be a cowboy. And he's pretty good at it, but he's also like very, I don't know. It's just, this is Jane Campion, right? Mm-hmm. And she's doing a lot of stuff here. She's making kind of a deconstruction of a Western. In a lot of ways, this is about so the movie is about, to give it a bit of a summary, it's about two brothers who own a ranch or run a ranch that I guess their parents own in Montana, and one of them decides to get married and brings his new wife home, played by Kirsten Dunst. The one who gets married is Jesse Plemons. They're married in real life. they are incredible together on screen. They're together in Fargo season 2.
2, yeah.
And that's just fantastic. They're an incredible on-screen couple. I love them both dearly. At this point, in The Last Duel, I kept thinking like, that guy looks kind of like Jesse Plemons. Who is that?
Skinny Jesse Plemons.
Yeah. No. And Benedict Cumberbatch is the brother, and he's very angry that things are not the way that they used to be. And that his brother brought this girl home and all of this stuff. And I guess, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in this movie. I don't know if we really want to go into it here, but yeah, it's very good. Very good.
This was number 13 on my list as well. It's a deep movie.
Yeah.
It's a heavy movie.
Yeah.
It's so heavy that I didn't put it higher because I wanted to actually see it again and think about it more. Right now, my thoughts can best be summed up in this Letterboxd review from user Brat. The masculine urge to cope with your step-uncle's pointed homophobia by storming outside and aggressively hula hooping. Yeah, no, but I joke, but it is really intense and very serious and has a lot to say and is gorgeous and is beautiful. And I'd like to revisit it at some point and I don't know, talk to someone about it. Great.
It's brutal. It's a very brutal movie. It's a sharp, pointed movie. I feel like it slices you, as it's going.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. What about number 6?
Number 6 for me is Last Night in Soho.
Last Night in Soho.
I like this movie quite a lot. I've now seen it about 3 times, which is crazy because it came out like 3 months ago. But the soundtrack has been on all the time. I can't get away from it. And the thing about this movie that I found out is that the more times I've seen it and thought about it, the more I like the first 2/3 so very, very, very much, and how I kind of don't like that last third a lot. About the point when she's in the library, I almost want to like turn the movie off or just fast forward to the end. I just too much of the ghosts at that point, and the ghosts kind of turn into zombies. And then we got this extended last bit, and it does work when you're watching it. Like I just don't like thinking about it. But I really what I love about this movie, I love a lot enough to put it here. And this movie was such a breath of fresh air for me. It was so nice to see Edgar Wright trying something new. Thomasin McKenzie is fantastic. So is Anya Taylor-Joy. I really had a great time at the movies. I was transported somewhere else for a while. That was great.
Yeah. And again, we have a whole episode a month ago, 2 months ago, talking about this. So you can go check us out there talking about
Halloween
this movie.
Episode.
That's right.
That's right.
Halloween. Yeah. So you can go check us out there talking more about Last Night in Soho.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Jesse?
My number 6 is No Time to Die.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I said Spider-Man was fun, but man, this was just it was a good, like, blockbuster romp. Like,
heck yeah.
Yeah. What a great time. I even got my wife to watch it, which is
nice.
She hates James Bond, and she claims to have hated Casino Royale, but I'm convinced she didn't see it because when I asked her about it, she got it confused with Ocean's 11. So
what? Also, separate conversation though.
It's like,
wait a second.
Wait, no. I think we need to watch that movie now because I think you might actually like it.
I think you need to watch both movies again because she should like both. Everybody likes both.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think she likes Ocean's. Hey, you know what? We do need to watch that one together too. Anyway, but she's just like, finally there's like an action movie with like a human element. And, I kind of agreed with her. Like, I was feeling a lot for Mr. Bond in this one. Thinking more about like legacy and what, he just doesn't have time to die. And he's just constantly running out of time. That's the theme of this movie. Constantly running out of time, and he doesn't have time to die.
Is he James Bond or is he Alexander Hamilton?
I guess he's basically Alexander Hamilton because he's not 007 anymore. So who is he?
Exactly. What he is, he's a hero in our hearts. And honestly, I did messed up. I mean, no spoilers for the end of this one. That's definitely not.
Yeah.
But I did messed up at the end, and I did not expect to do that at the end of James Bond.
I was not expecting that at all, and it came, and I was like, "That is wonderful. This is great."
Yeah.
I am so satisfied. At the end of this movie, I felt so satisfied with the Daniel Craig franchise. And you know what? I've never even seen Quantum of Solace or Spectre, so the Spectre stuff in this movie did kind of confuse me.
Oh, that must be so confusing.
And then it's like, oh,
like all
they're
of what
bad guys. All right. That's all I got. That's all I got from the Spectre stuff. They're bad guys.
That moment lands so much better if you've seen Spectre. Like, it lands so much better.
Like, I don't even care at this point. Like, I think I got it. Maybe I'm missing stuff, but I don't know.
It still worked for you.
It still works. It's not like Spider-Man, which doesn't work if you haven't seen the previous 5 movies. This one, if you haven't seen Spectre, let me tell you, it'll still blow you out of the water. Loved it.
Very nice. How about you, Mike?
Number 6 for me is The Green Knight.
Yeah.
I still love The Green Knight. I totally understand people's dislike for it. But it worked like crazy for me. And I am going to see this one again. I'm excited to see it again. And it's just so weird. It's such a weird movie, that I love. So yeah. And we talked a lot about that too. We have many thoughts on The Green Knight.
Yes, we do.
I just really love personally how like this movie is about how you can die and not die at the same time, and how both are equally important. That's personally my
divergent timelines.
Yeah. I really
listen back to our episode on that one. Like that was a really, really controversial one, like amongst us. But it's a great movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, so I guess it's number 11 on my list. Actually, no, it is number 11 on my list.
Number 11.
Okay, so now that we've finished our bottom half of our top 10, let's just interrupt the flow for a minute with an interesting question.
A little palate cleanser, as it were. It's like the ginger that you take between like the different sushi.
The different sushis. So
or sashimis, if you like. I'm just gonna keep cutting you off.
Or sake.
Yeah.
Sake's, yeah.
There you go.
What?
Show. I'm sorry.
What is the best non-21 non-podcast movie you guys have seen? Mike, since you're just like champing at the bit, what is it?
My favorite movie that I saw this past year that wasn't related at all, A Serious Man. The first time I saw it was this year. I think that is a hilarious movie. It's very funny. Love it. Man, A Serious Man.
It's a Coen Brothers movie, right?
Yeah, it's a Coen Brothers movie. It feels like it's a little lesser known than some of their bigger ones. Although everyone, like, whenever you bring it up to anyone, they're like, "Oh yeah, that movie's great." But it's just a really, it's kind of the story of Job. There's parking lots, man. It's just excellent.
There's parking lots.
There's teeth. There's a lot about teeth in here.
There's a lot about teeth. There's an uncle figure, who is great. Who's that actor?
Richard Kind.
Richard Kind. I was gonna say Richard Pryor, and I knew that was wrong. Richard Kind. Love Richard Kind.
Very wrong.
Super wrong. Although kind of similar, but
no.
Yeah. That was my favorite. What about you, Jesse?
So my favorite, I've got 2 favorite non-2021 non-podcast movie that we haven't really talked about. I got 2 of them. One Mike has already brought up, surprisingly, is The Florida Project.
Hey,
Oh, you
That
saw
is,
it?
yeah, it's a great
Oh
movie.
my gosh, yeah!
isn't it like one
That's
of
a
the
gem.
best things you've ever seen?
Oh,
That
my
is,
gosh.
that is not going to be something that I'm going to rewatch all the time. It's not even something I'm going to recommend to literally everybody. But wow, for what we have, it is like that is definitely a childhood I've never had, and I'm happy. I'm very
Yeah.
grateful to my parents now.
One of the
Yeah.
Thank
worst
you.
childhoods ever.
Yeah.
In some way, like
and just in terms of like
yeah,
of generalities, you
yeah.
know.
Well, what I love about the movie is it is a terrible childhood living in this hotel room, like with your is it her mom or
Yeah.
grandmother?
Mom.
Um, I
It's
could
her
have sworn
mom.
I could have sworn at one point she made it seem like she's her grandmother. I can't remember why I think that.
I don't think it's
Um,
possible.
No, she's like
Yeah.
22.
Yeah. If that.
is she 22?
She's
She's
really young.
very young. Like she's not college. She might be college age, you know.
I don't know. But anyway, just like living in a hotel and her mom, I guess, not having a job and just constantly doing whatever it takes to get that money, which includes the protagonist having to like sit in the bathtub all night. Oh, that was awful.
Yeah,
That
when
was
you
horrendous.
realize why that is, you're like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah, that was a extremely painful moment. But also like the endurance of childhood, like being able to make something magical out of just the shittiest situations, which is it's true. Children are capable of doing that, which gives me some hope for my own kids. Well, you know, it's not like they have a bad life, but if I worry that I've like traumatized them,
Yeah.
it's like they'll recover. It'll actually be okay. Like this
No,
really is a bad childhood. Also, Willem Dafoe is in it, and he's also great.
a hero, just a damn hero in that movie. Oh my
Just
gosh.
like, dude, you are making every really tough call somebody can make, and you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Like, your job is worth it, sir. I'm so happy that you exist. I hope there's someone out there who actually is a Willem Dafoe to people.
I'm so happy you saw this. This is my favorite movie of 2017. I saw it alone in a theater, and that enabled me to cry like a baby, which I did.
Yeah, that is it's a gem of a movie. And real quickly, I will mention another gem, which is The Hidden Life. I've never seen a Terrence Malick movie before. I was always like, I don't want to spend 3 hours watching ramblings of dinosaurs and trees. I don't know. What the hell else is there. But like this was very much a linear story about a couple in Nazi Germany, and he refuses to take an oath to Hitler. He says what's happening is wrong. He gets drafted in the army, and then, well, I mean, you can kind of guess what happens, but like, it's just about man, like why somebody would do that, and it's like why someone would do that, like even quietly. Like it's not like he's trying to make this isn't a dude out to like make a statement. That's not the point. The point is he just can't do it, and the movie is explaining why, and then the effect on both the husband and the wife and the family, because you feel real joy at times, and then real sadness, real depression, real anxiety. You feel everything that they're going through, and this movie it's a wonderful, important experience. I think people should see it. With Florida Project, I'd be picky about who I would recommend this to, but everybody should see A Hidden Life. Unless you really don't have that much time on your hands to watch it, and really can't sit still in movies.
It's funny, you were just talking about how 90 minutes was like your ideal movie, and you're like,
I
and
know.
this 3-hour movie?
Yeah.
It's like the longest movie I saw this year.
I probably won't rewatch it for a very long time because that it's a 3-hour movie, but it's worth it. It's worth that time.
Very good, very good. So that's A Hidden Life and The Florida Project. Mike,
Yeah.
how about you? What's the best non-podcast, non-2021 movie you saw?
Easy.
For myself, to just go along a similar kind of bummer vein that Jesse was putting out, it was Spotlight. Spotlight
Oh,
was the
yeah.
best non-2021 non-podcast movie that I saw. I missed it the year it came out and won Best Picture. Even at the time, I didn't want to watch this movie. This is a movie about the expose on the sexual abuse scandal in the Catholic Church that happened through the Washington Post, I believe, in the Spotlight section. Hence the movie title of the movie. It's a very thorny movie, very difficult at times to kind of get through, to process the information that you're seeing. Very difficult to kind of wrap your mind around the fact that this sort of thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very moved by it. I was infuriated. I was saddened. I was every gamut of the spectrum that the movie wanted me to be on. It played me like a fiddle, and yeah, at the end of the day, I had nothing really left. It had wrung me emotionally dry, and I thought to myself, like, this is just one of the best movies I think that America has made. It's incredible, and it's so sad that it's about this. But yeah, Spotlight was sobering watch.
It's been on my list for a while. Yeah,
that is it's a bummer. It's a bummer of a movie. I mean, yeah.
But it's also so light on its feet, you know, like it's still fun at many junctures, which seems inappropriate to say, but it is still fun. This is still a newspaper movie, and there's some fantastic performances. There's great dialogue. There's crackling back and forth drama. Like, this is a damn good movie on top of it being important, which I think is very, very necessary. And that's really what I really walked away from with, is that it's entertaining and it's like a crushing of your soul. But it's both, because I was incredibly on the edge of my seat, wanting the Spotlight team to succeed, and Mark Ruffalo like chewing the scenery. They knew, you know, It's such a famous scene now.
Yeah, I guess I will. A little caveat for me then is I didn't feel the entertainment as much. Like, I think it was big. It's important, but I wasn't really as entertained, and I felt like it's like I didn't feel the real central conflict here. I felt like there was a bunch of little things that they're trying to investigate, but usually, I mean, I don't know. I didn't feel as much of a conflict. There are some there. Anyway, I don't want to get too bogged down. It's still a good movie.
I just mean conflicts between like what they want to do and then the various impediments that are placed in their path, including interview subjects who don't want to be interviewed, and then trying to find ways around that. That's what I meant. There's always a drama.
Yeah.
There's always an interaction that's kind of confrontational that's happening that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. There's a series of like a bunch of little dramas, but like normally in these newspaper movies, there's like the one big conflict they're really trying to overcome, and usually it's like pushing the story out in the first place.
Yeah.
Which maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but I don't I remember that being an issue, but not like the central conflict. I don't remember a central conflict.
I think the central conflict is like that these figures could be indicted in something like this. That seemed to be like the fact that the problem gets bigger the more they pick at it. Like the fact that it's an investigation and not like we have the whole story. They don't have the whole story. They spend the whole movie trying to get the whole story. Yeah. And even at the end of the movie, they don't have it. You know what I mean? They just have what they were able to put out.
It's really more of an investigation movie, almost. Yeah. Yeah.
But I love it. I love Spotlight. It's now one of the best movies I think I've seen. So yeah. But now that we're done with that, surprisingly sobering trip.
Shout out to Long Day's Journey into Night. Check it out. It's great.
What is this movie?
For you, Mike.
Long Day's Journey into Night. The title card drops halfway through the movie. It's great. Let's move forward. Let's go back.
No. Besides the title drop happens in the middle of the movie, what is this movie about?
It's about a long day's journey into the night.
It's also 3 hours long.
This was one of the highest grossing movies in China when it was released, and made all of its money in one day, and then got review bombed by the entire nation. It's great. It's beautiful. It's about dreams and memory.
I don't think I'm sold on this in any way, but I will remember this movie. It was review bombed in China, and it's about dreams of memory. And the title drops in the middle of the...
Like an hour and a half into the movie.
Oh, because it's a 3-hour movie.
Yes. So the whole hour and a half before that. Just like the introduction.
Okay. That is something. And that was one of your like top movies?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just to throw some chaos into the mix. Let's go to the top 5. Woo!
Very good. Very good. Number 5, I'm just going to go real quick first because it's already been mentioned. It's The Green Knight for me. The Green Knight is my number 5 movie of the year. I love this movie. I have already rewatched it, and I look forward to rewatching again. I do find a lot in it. I find a lot that's applicable to me as a person. Again, listen back in our episode if you want us to talk more about it. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Yeah, it has actually fallen. It was number 1 for quite a while, and is now down.
That's cool. That's cool that there are 4 more movies that have replaced it.
Yeah, 4. All right, Jesse, what's your number 5 movie of the year?
My number 5 is already been mentioned. Last Night in Soho.
Oh wow!
Really enjoyed it. It's a thriller of a movie. I think I will say that I enjoyed the last third way more than Vito did.
Okay.
So like for me, the whole movie works. I enjoy this crazy ride this movie is taking me on. Love it. Yeah. Again, you can listen back to our episode on that. And I think we've said enough about Last Night in Soho, so I'm not going to go into too much more.
After this episode, I'm so glad we're shouting it out and doing everything. But after this episode, I'm going to really try not to think about it for like another year.
Yeah, it's fair.
How about you, Mike?
Sorry. Number 5 is Pig. Pig.
Oh!
Made it to number 5 for me.
Wow.
I love Pig, guys. Like, this movie was great.
You love Lamp?
Yeah, I love Lamp.
You love Pig.
It's just, I mean, I don't know if... I don't know how well it's going to last outside of, like, its moment. Because, like, this is a movie that's definitely kind of talking about, you know, John Wick and Nobody and all of this stuff. And, but I think there's a lot to it, about being a human, about being alive, about why we do the things that we do, and what's really valuable. There's like, you know, maybe I'm just a sucker for, I'm thinking about other movies that I really love, and maybe I'm just a sucker for food scenes. Because like I can think of several food scenes that just like leave me just shaken. In the lexicon of movies, and
do you mean that
this has a couple?
Do you mean that the food is delicious, or that you just prefer scenes with food in them?
Well, I think what it is that scenes with food in them, and I think that, you know, meals are one of the most human acts that you can have. A meal is something that, and that by that I mean something that you share with someone in some way or another. Like you sit down, someone prepares it. It is made to look good and to taste flavorful. And like, so the scene where they go to, I mean, there's 2 meals in this that are just profound. One where they go to the dad's house, and one where they're in a restaurant. Wait, Vito, have you seen this yet?
So I started watching it last night. I'm 15 minutes in, and it was late, and I was really going to sleep. I was interested in where it was going. I think I stopped watching it. He's with the rich guy played by Alex Wolff, and they've uncovered, like, someone found out they took his truffle pig, right? The old lady did, and now they're like on the warpath looking for the truffle pig. That's exactly where I am. I tried to finish it today, but every opportunity that we had was spoiled by the fact that I have children, and my wife really wants to finish this. So we were going to finish it, and we just didn't happen. Okay. Really sorry I didn't, though.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
It's I thought it was going to be higher for you.
Oh yeah, well, just some other things. It was higher.
Or other things came up.
Exactly 4 other things.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Wild.
Speaking of 4 other things, let's flip this around. Jesse, what's number 4 for you?
Number 4 for me is Stillwater.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow!
Man, can you believe it? Jesse told us back in like September Stillwater was awesome, and I have not seen it yet.
I didn't watch it.
I'm sorry, Jesse.
It's hard. It's kind of like the Florida Project. Like, how do you recommend something that is, I don't know, that kind of like is gut wrenching to you? And I feel that way with Stillwater. I have a hard time talking about this movie a whole lot because it was surprising to me. Like, if you told me the movie I felt about the ending, when I first watched the movie, I wouldn't believe you, and I don't want to ruin that for anybody else who wants to watch this movie. But it's it's about the dad trying to get his daughter back from Europe. She's been in prison for murder out there and been convicted. I think it's in France. And they have like
This sounds suspiciously a lot like a real life person.
It is suspiciously a lot like a real life person. And so you think that it's going to be mostly about that, but that's not quite what it's about. It's more about the dad trying to get his daughter out of prison, which I do not think follows real life events. Maybe I could be wrong. I think that, I don't know. Like, I did know the Amanda Knox
That's
Chronicle.
What I mean. I didn't want to say that word in case that was like a spoiler, but that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, I think it was well known that it was kind of loosely based on Amanda Knox. But think of that more as like an inspiration for this scenario. Like,
okay,
Amanda Knox's like story is sort of there, but it's like purposely a different country and doing slightly different things. But it's not even really about her. It's about the dad and his struggling relationship with her and trying to do other things. And again, I don't want to spoil things that happen. Just, it's also about like American mentality that I don't think we talk a whole lot about, but I think is very interesting. There's a lot of stuff about flaws passed down from one generation to another. A lot of cool stuff here.
Always in for generational dysfunction.
Yeah, generational dysfunction is, it's something. Oh. It can be gut-wrenching, and I felt that in this movie. I had a lot of feelings after I was done watching this movie. But yeah, this was quite an experience. I recommend it.
Cool. Wow. Okay. Yeah, but it's jumping up spaces on my list to hear you talk about it. Okay, so I let you guys know in the Slack before we did this episode that I cheated once.
Did you cheat twice?
It depends. If you want to be specific, for my number 4 pick, I've cheated 4 times.
Oh, is it the like 1666 Fear Street stuff?
Okay. No, it's different. It's different. Let me take you on a tiny walk here. So, between the years 1964 and 1974, we have a huge revolution that strikes America, right? We've talked about this in previous episodes. We know about this from history. A huge thing that happened in these years was how much music changed. How different it became.
Oh, okay.
For my number 4, I have 4 music documentaries that take place between that time period that chart the growth from the 1960s forward into modern music. I have the Sparks Brothers, The Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised. I have the Velvet Underground, and I have the Beatles Get Back. Okay. I could not find a possible justification for having all 4 of these in my top 10, except as one story smushed together. We have the Sparks Brothers taking place in the late 60s, early 70s, beginning on the Golden Coast of California. We have the Summer of Love taking place in Harlem in the mid-1960s. At that same time, we have the Velvet Underground taking place around New York City, also in the 1960s, and then the Beatles Get Back taking place at the end. This is a wonderful, just like kaleidoscopic portrayal of the music business, of culture, kind of popular culture across a span of 10 and more years, showing this change through pop music and how it's reacting to the world around it, how it's shaping the world around it. And I couldn't think of a way to do just one of them because I think they're all fantastic. And I think they all just tell a separate story. The Sparks Brothers being like the overlooked ones who influence everything from behind that no one knows about. We have the Summer of Soul, which is about like a forgotten cultural festival that happened in Harlem that every musician who is any musician who was Black in America or the world played. And it was amazing. And it took place across weeks. I mean, like Nina Simone was there. I mean, everyone was there. Nina Simone just really stands out because she's a powerhouse. But that's Questlove's documentary that we talked about earlier this year at the Oscars. There's the Velvet Underground, which is about like weird white avant-garde artists who make a strange band that also happen to influence everyone. Like the Velvet Underground is like a Black Mirror version of the Beatles. Like they're so weird and so strange, and everything they do is like so bizarre, but it's artistic. They're trying to push forward somehow, even if it's like, I don't know, dumb, which it is at times. And then finally, finally crowning off with the Beatles Get Back, the true masters, not only are they responding to the culture, they're shaping it as well. And they synthesize all of these ideas and almost all of these sounds, and they change pop music forever. And I love that this year there were so many documentaries that came out about this time, about influential people. And I really felt like I wanted to smush them all together and say, this is it. This, if you want to see like some really vital cultural documents, it's here.
All right, but Vito, I gotta ask, if I have time for just one music documentary, which one should I watch?
I guess it depends on what you want. This is why it's hard. Because there is the really amazing, awesome Harlem Cultural Festival in the Summer of Love, which features performances from artists in such a high quality you've never seen before. It's music you've never heard. That's really cool and awesome. And it took place across a period of sunny, hot weeks. Or there's the Beatles. It's the Beatles, guys. And they're hanging out, they're playing. There's all this crazy technology that you can look up on the internet about how Peter Jackson made this 9-hour documentary about how this works, how he got the sound to be so good. That's fascinating in itself. Also, just to spend a day in the life with the lads, right? There's the Velvet Underground. That's for niche tastes. If you know who they are and like them, those are two separate kinds of people. And then the Sparks Brothers, those are even smaller groups of people. I would say at the end of the day that if you want to pick between being educated or just having a good time, I would say Summer of Soul is where you should go to be educated, to hear something different, something you've never seen or heard before. And you go to the Beatles Get Back as like comfort, as like going home. It's the Beatles and they're playing Get Back. Like,
yeah.
And they play it a lot. So that's where I'm at. That's my number. That's my 4 for 4. Number 4. From my point of view, the encapsulation of music and pop culture from the 60s and the 70s.
Awesome.
That was a huge cheat. Thank you, guys.
You cheated, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll remember.
I worked really hard to like try and.
This.
You would have had to leave out like 3 other movies otherwise.
I thought you were going to pick something from last year, and I was going to be like, you wouldn't let me pick Minari.
I would never do something like that. We just never talked about it, and I was like, this feels sneaky, but I think if I can justify it, they'll go for it. So.
You know what? It works, and now I want to see those other ones. So that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike.
My number 4 is less interesting or educational. But I mean, in terms of what I've got to say about it, but it's The Last Duel. Last Duel made it to number 4 on my list. Yeah, man, great movie. We've talked about it a little bit.
I kind of feel like we should should we do an episode on it or something?
I kind of feel like we should.
And by the way, I'm just going to say, like, my number 3 is The Last Duel, and I'm going.
My number 3 is The Last Duel.
Yeah, okay,
Let's just talk about The Last Duel right now for a second.
Yeah, let's do some Last Duel. All right. So what did you like about it? Who do you think is right?
That was really good.
Well, first off, spoilers for The Last Duel. Second, if you don't know what The Last Duel is, it's I don't know. I can't remember what year it takes place, but it tells you multiple times.
Like 1300s, I think.
1300s, and there are 3 main characters. We've got, first up, Matt Damon, and it shows his point of view for about 12 years. Some absurd length of time.
And you don't know that this is just one of the 3 point of views that you're going to get.
I think we should also be careful about how we're spoiling this, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll just say well, for me, like, I thought it was pretty clear. Like, it says the truth according to, and then you get Matt Damon's character.
Right. That's right. You're right. Then I just forgot about it.
And it goes through years really fast to the point where, like, we go through his story for like 50 minutes of the movie. Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, like what else is there to say? And then it transfers to Adam Driver's character. Jacques? I think it's Jacques and John, right?
Yeah, right. Jacques.
So Jacques is Adam Driver, and it goes back in time to where the other story, Matt Damon's story, took place, and continues up until the time where it wants you to not see Adam Driver's story anymore, and then it goes to a third character, who's going to be Matt Damon's wife, showing what happens to her.
We haven't mentioned her name yet, but Jodie Comer is amazing in this movie.
Yeah,
holy shit,
she's great. This is the best, most well-structured plot I've seen in a very long time. Yeah. Like, this movie moves, and it never really feels confusing. Like, with 3 different perspectives on events going on, you would feel like that would be confusing, but it's not. It's pretty clear. It's pretty straightforward. And it everything supports another scene in there. No scene feels unnecessary. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And even talking about it as like this story told from the 3 perspectives, like, if I just heard that, I'd be like, wow, that sounds like we're traveling over old ground to make a longer movie.
Absolutely not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's extremely, like, it's not just important. It's also, like, I struggle with saying the word enjoyable, but I'll use that. Yeah.
I enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the plot it's heavy. Like, this is some serious grown-up shit going on here.
But there were moments where I'd see, like, one person look at someone and the story is being told from a perspective of someone else, right? And you'd see the look and it was super meaningful. But then in the next story, from a different perspective, that look is just not even there. Like, that look wasn't noticed. Instead, it's something else. And that was what was so great about it, is that, like, in my daily life, I spend so much time, like, agonizing over small things that occur. And if they happen in that way because of some intention from somebody. And then if I could just see it from someone else's point of view, they would be noticing entirely different details that I'm not paying attention to at all, which is the fascinating thing about differing perspectives. And this movie, like, takes full advantage of it.
Yeah. And what's really cool about the differing perspective thing is that sometimes the scene is actually different, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just because the focus changes.
Right. Because and that's the part that's not enjoyable, is some of those parts.
There were times where I was looking in the background at a different character being like, that's a weird reaction. Like, oh, that's not right. And then, like, I would see it being brought to the forefront and then realizing maybe I shouldn't have been looking in the background because I wasn't going along the ride the movie wanted me to go along. But still, like, it's cool that I think the movie does a really good job of doing that. And I've never seen that before. Oh, I think I compared this movie to
you said Vantage Point?
Vantage Point from, like, 2008. It's not a great movie, guys. It's like an action movie, but it's like about, like, 5 different people. They're all seeing different things at the same location at the same time, you know, and it keeps them traveling back in time to... Anyway, the plot is actually structured very similar to that movie, but done better in every single way imaginable.
I mean, I think it's the best Rashomon-style movie since Rashomon, I think. Mm-hmm. It's just the best one that's done it since the original master did it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just... Man. And you said it was, like... It was entertaining, but those differing perspectives are just, they're really insightful. Like, you feel like you are really getting to know somebody else, and maybe not just that one person, but the people they're interacting with. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'll add too, I feel like this is very much a companion piece to The Power of the Dog. Very much. I think that they're thinking about similar things. A lot of similar things. I'll
have to break that down with you a different time.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say that and, like,
just bomb it.
Everyone's gotta agree because like I just came up with it.
Sure.
All right.
I still haven't seen Power of the Dog, so I will agree with you. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, dude! Also, some of the best like action fight scenes that I've ever
Hell
seen.
yeah.
Oh,
And like, oh my gosh, the duel is
When that one certain character does that one thing to that other certain character, and I cheered.
I've been wanting to see this since I was like 5. You know, like I love knights in shining armor.
And to see them duking it out, like, oh, like
the
movie opens up with them charging at each other, and my heart started racing. I was like, I want to see the end of that, and then it's like 20 years earlier, it's like, oh no, and then the movie slowly builds back up to that moment, and when you get there, it's so satisfying. It's a really well choreographed, well put together fight with so much emotion charged in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I love the symbolism too of when one character gets a knife through the back of their head into their mouth, like a lying serpent. I loved that. I saw that symbolism and I was like, huzzah, huzzah! A true artist is in our presence. The last duel, number 3 for me and Jesse, number 4 for Mike. So I guess that means, Mike, what's your number 3?
I get to go again. Great. Yes. My number 3 is a little movie by an Anderson, movie called Licorice Pizza.
Wow, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, you thought I was going to say something else, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And now I see what's coming, and I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, Licorice Pizza. Let's talk about this when you put it. When you talk about it, Vito.
Okay,
let's talk about it then. So I guess Jesse.
My number 2. We're talking about number 2s?
Indeed.
My number 2 is Pig.
Wait, no, this is number... Oh, yeah. Yeah, number 2. Okay, your number 2 is Pig?
My number 2 is Pig.
Yeah! Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I really... So I didn't talk about it that much when you brought it up because, it's my number 2. So I got to talk about it. Yeah, this was a weird movie. This is one of those movies where I watched it, I walked away from it and said, I think I like that. But this movie has stuck around with me more than any other movie. I think it's got a lot of really hard to swallow pills that it's trying to get me to swallow. And it's trying to show the idea that there are few things in this life that you will be able to love, and they are irreplaceable. You can't just pick a new thing. You can't just get another one. That's it. And also, the people that say that they care about you, that they that they support you, that you mean a lot to them, they don't. They just, in all reality, would rather beat the holy living shit out of you, and want to be better than you. And maybe you shouldn't live your life just doing that. Maybe you should live your life doing the things that you actually love. That's meaningful for me. I think that's meaningful in general, and that is a movie worth seeing. And again, it's an hour and a half, so it wraps this up really well. And I think I've pitched this and I've heard it pitched as a John Wick or Nobody style movie, and
that really turned me off after watching 20 minutes of it. I was like, that was a lie.
It is. Well, it's definitely there. It's got some things, but I think it's got something far more valuable it's doing.
Oh yeah.
It definitely has its own voice. It's not merely a response. I think the John Wick sort of framework helps it with what it's trying to do. Yeah, man. Yeah, I was very moved and very pleasantly surprised by this movie. Yeah, it's my number 2. Definitely, I look forward to another rewatch or a rewatch. I guess I haven't rewatched it yet, but also I keep on playing a certain rendition of a certain song that is played sometime in this movie that has haunted me ever since I heard it.
Yeah.
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 I can't. I won't say anything else. Just go watch Pig. It's an hour and a half.
I need
It's
to finish
totally worth
Pig.
it.
I need to finish Pig.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I couldn't finish it for you guys. I'm sorry.
No,
It's
that's
okay.
We want you to see
It's-
it for yourself, man. I think that you're gonna love it. Personally,
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. What's
Yeah.
your number 2, Mike?
My number 2 is Come On, Come On. Mike Mills, Come On.
Oh,
Come
wow.
On. Yeah.
Shit. Why didn't I get to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just saw this a couple. Did you see it, Jesse?
No.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
Okay. It is everything Belfast was trying to be. I think.
Okay.
Sort of. So it's black and white. And it's about Joaquin Phoenix plays a radio person, and he's going around the country interviewing kids about what they think about the world today and what the future holds. And so the movie throughout it is intercut with these interviews that are just touching and sweet and funny, and like there's no bad people in this movie at all. Like no one's a bad person, which is weird. Like when was the last time you saw a movie with no bad people in it?
Encanto.
Okay, well, for not entirely for children. So he goes and he his sister is having some stuff going on with her husband, and she needs someone to stay with her son. And he goes because he's single, and to stay with him, and then he takes him to New York where he lives for a little while. And it's just about their relationship growing. And throughout the movie, you learn more about the relationships that these people have. And it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful movie about the hope of children, the hope that children are, the beauty and joy that they are. And it's like one of the most life affirming movies I've seen. Definitely the most life-affirming movie I've seen this year, about every facet of it. The things that are difficult, the things that are lovely, the things that are annoying. Like it's just wonderful.
I'm even more excited to see it now.
It moved me.
Bob.
It moved me, Bob.
But you got to tell me, how long is it?
It's pretty short, I think. I mean, it's like
I'm sold.
Well, actually, it might be 2 hours.
That's fine.
And I will say, like, it's number 2 because it's maybe 10 minutes longer than it needed to be.
10 minutes is fine. 10 minutes is
10
fine.
minutes is fine. 10 minutes is fine, but keeps it out of the number 1 slot.
Yeah.
I have seen movies that are a full, like, half hour too long.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, and Joaquin Phoenix is just great. It's so nice to see him, like...
Not a monster.
Well, I won't say happy, but, yeah, like a normal human being. It's great.
Not like gnarled up and twisted. Like, you're like, I'm the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my best Joker arms. They look kind of like chicken wings or something.
It's great.
They're very stiff. They're very toddlery. You know, toddlers do that.
T-Rexy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love hearing that. These are some diverse number 2s.
Yeah.
Wait, did
my
you
number
give
2
your...
is... Okay. No, I haven't given it. My number 2 is Bo Burnham's Inside.
Oh my gosh! It made it. It made it on the list. I don't know if I even had that on.
Holy shit!
Rating.
I forgot about that. Damn it!
It wouldn't have been. Would it have been on your 10, Jesse?
Yeah. Crap. Where would it have been?
Jumping
I don't remember. I would have been somewhere on my 10. Not in the top 5 though. Yeah.
This was also number 1 for a long time. Yeah, this movie, just like with Don't Look Up, and just like with a lot of some of my favorite movies, it touches on my deepest fears, my deepest anxieties, and talks about them, addresses them in real time. And this movie does that. The fear of failing, the fear of not being great, the fear of not making something, the fear of everything, and the crushing weight of that fear and the anxiety that occurs from that, but then also still trying to make something and trying to say something and be something was really inspiring. Yes, is most of this made up? I'm sure. Okay? When he breaks down on camera, you know what? I can only believe that it had to have been manufactured. Okay, I know that. I know it's a performance. I get it. I know it's not a vlog. Okay? But even as a performance piece, it still works. The songs are fantastic. It's terrifically funny. It's incredibly insightful and prescient about what we're going through. And Jesse, you were mentioning that there was a movie. Which one was it that you said that was like the 20 last year for you.
Oh,
What the
Limbo.
lockdown was.
That was 2020. Yeah.
Inside feels like 2020 for me.
Yeah.
And everything about it just touched me really, really deeply. I'm still humming the songs. You know, "Welcome to the Internet" is one of the catchiest things I've ever heard. Even the little ones too. You know, how do you feel? I feel like shit. I use lines from this all the time. Even my wife and I like quote this to each other a lot, just like we do with the other two Bo Burnham specials. You know, I'm an unpaid intern. Everything is so good about this, and I'm so happy it exists. I'm so happy I get to keep coming back to it. I think everyone that calls him out for being privileged is totally right. I also don't give a shit about your opinions, though, and I think he made something really special, and I think this is that. So that's my number 2, Bo Burnham's Inside.
Yeah. I will also say I think some of that was manufactured, but also like he gives a timeline, and it's pretty clear he's working on it at the beginning of 2020 with the plan for it to come out sometime in 2020, and it doesn't. It comes out in the middle of 2021.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I get the feeling that this guy really was trapped in his room or his house. I'm sure I think he lives with his girlfriend or whatever, so I know he's not actually alone.
This is their back house. Yeah.
Yeah, their back house. He has a huge ass house. But he really is like trapped in a place, like working on this thing for about 1.5 years. Yeah, I think that definitely happened. And given everything we know about Bo Burnham, like I remember in college, Vito, I think we made a bet one time about like which comedian would kill themselves first.
yeah, we did.
With Bo Burnham being at the very top of the list.
Oh yeah,
this guy is very mentally unstable, and so like even if that's a performance, I know somewhere in there he actually did all that. I know he's speaking sincerely, maybe not in the moment, but I know he went through that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. There's a temptation to believe that what you're seeing is all genuine, right? Mm-hmm. And it could very well be real, quote unquote, but it just might not have happened at the time the camera was rolling, you know?
Yeah.
So there's some creative license there that must be given him. I just wanted to say that in case people were like, the most normie opinion that you as a man can have is that Bo Burnham's Inside was incredible. And it's like, yeah, but like off, like it really impressed me and it really touched me in a big way.
Yeah.
And
what's wrong with being normie?
Enduring. I think it's a very enduring piece, and I think that it'll be looked at for a long time. He continues to change the comedy game.
Yeah, that really does also encapsulate 2020 like perfectly.
Yeah. We're all up to number 1, right?
I think we're all at number 1.
Yeah, we're all up to number
should we have like a drum roll or something?
It's all going to be different, though. It's all three of ours are going to be different. I already know what both of yours is, but it's all going to be different.
Yeah,
I don't. I have no idea. Actually, no, I do. I do.
yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay, go. I don't know who goes first.
Mike,
no,
go ahead.
No, okay. All right. I'll go first. My number 1 pick for the year of 2021 is Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. I love this movie, guys. I think it's a masterpiece. Like I don't know if anybody else cares about this movie at all. I think it's the best thing. I think it might be the best thing he's done.
Oh my god, we're saying a lot of things now.
Yeah. This is a whole lot to take in for me. You're
gonna have to get all the way off my back about this.
No, guys, this movie is beautiful. There's so much Wes Anderson. I feel like this movie is like the argument for his soul. Like
what?
This is okay. So
there's a lot of stuff being said right now.
I'm saying a lot of shit, guys. Like this is okay. What do you think of when you think of The New Yorker?
The guy with the cigarette.
I feel like almost everyone like when they think of The New Yorker and like all these long.
I've never read an issue of The New Yorker.
People are kind of like, why does that exist? Right?
Oh, yes, I do think that, yes.
And don't, yeah, right? And like, this movie is so much, it's making a New Yorker, like, you know, magazine in Paris, or in Ennui, France, and it's got all of these, like, jokes and stuff.
That joke was funny.
It was.
Yeah.
Every single time, somehow. Like, I feel like a lot of people say the same thing about Wes Anderson, especially about his last few movies. And I think that this movie is really focused on that. Like, why are these things important? Why is it important to write these, like any of these articles I feel like could appear in the New Yorker, except they're just a little bit further from possibly existing in reality. And they're done, it's written in this kind of style where it's this like sort of like very investigative journalistic reporting about like, I don't know, mushrooms or something like that. And it's focused on things like language and sentence structure. And like, that's all fun for me because I like language and sentence structure and stuff. But then it's about like, why is that important? And each of these sort of vignettes goes into the importance of art and the importance of understanding art, of viewing it and believing it to be important, of believing that your life depends on it, because finally it's about communication and it's about how you express who you are to another person, which is a quest that we're all on and constantly terrified by. Each one of his main characters in each of these stories goes through this experience. I can't say enough about this movie. I think it's just incredible. And looking at like, I don't know, it seems like the consistent review on Letterboxd is I put some Wes Anderson on your Wes Anderson.
It's
like
super lazy.
It's really lazy. It's true, but it is true. Like there's so much more in this than any other movie. It's almost overwhelming, the amount of stuff, that the amount of dollhouses you're treated to, and the amount of just, and the color palette and the flash between just this, gorgeous black and white and this really incredible sort of like 70s palette. There's so much of it that it's almost overwhelming, but I think that this is him being like, this is what I want it all to be like. This is how I see the world. And it worked, man. It worked like crazy to just stop trying to pay attention maybe, or to focus on like in the middle story where we talk about the manifesto. Like there's a through line. There's a reason why this matters, but halfway through, I don't know. I think that you're supposed to realize like understanding how we get here doesn't matter. Like what we're intended to matter is that this is about love. This is about the quest for communication that we all have. And I think this, more than any other movie, achieved its goal in doing that. It's something that he's tried to do in all of his movies, and
I mean, I feel like
incredibly here.
I don't want to take away from anything that you said.
Yeah.
This is your number one movie of the year. All I can say is I didn't think almost any of that, but I didn't dislike the movie in any way. I did like it. It was overwhelming for me in the final third. I was really on board with this movie. I really liked the manifesto bits. I thought that was really funny, but I think the best story for me was the prisoner in the beginning, the prisoner artist.
That's great. Yeah.
Who makes his frescoes. But then when it came to the police captain's chef, there's a reason why the New Yorker is written down so you can read it at your own pace and not have it screamed at you while seeing a lot of quick cut images, which is how I felt a lot during the ending of The French Dispatch, is like someone yelling an article at me while I'm trying to watch a movie. And, you know, maybe I would feel differently about that if I saw this again. I did like it. I didn't think it was great. And I personally wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but I appreciate that you saw a lot of stuff that you really liked and that you really enjoyed. And maybe I'll come more around to that way of thinking on a second watch, but for right now, it's a nah from me, dog.
It's a nah from you, dog. All right.
I like it. I just don't love
it. Yeah. No, and like this, like I said, like this might be a movie made for me, you know? And that's a movie made for you. The French Dispatch might be a movie made for you.
Have you read an issue of The New Yorker?
Yeah, I have. Cover to cover.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You might be the only person I know that's done that.
I've done it a few times, like twice, maybe.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Man, I just what's his name? Wright. Jeffrey Wright playing
that was great.
Like a James Baldwin type reporter. Like, oh
very
my gosh. And talk about just a cast. Wow.
I mean, it's kind of cheating at this point. You can't cast everyone and then say, wow, what a cast. Like, you invited everyone.
Everyone's there. Yeah.
And
but
Norton
I mean, still,
for like approximately 3 minutes.
I know. And Saoirse Ronan's eyes. Oh, they're beautiful.
Jesse, you've been very quiet.
I'm going to choose to remain very quiet about Mike's number one pick. I really don't.
Jesse,
anything.
I want to know what you think of this movie.
You really want to know what I think?
I really want to know what you think of this movie.
Well, I think I don't have much to say, Mike. I feel a lot about this movie the way you felt about Spider-Man. I questioned whether or not this was a movie. I said, is it possible that Wes Anderson, fanfare could just be a movie? Because that's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like Wes Anderson for Wes Anderson's sake. So you're talking about things that you got from the movie, and I got none of it. And like, for me, like, a Wes Anderson movie is enjoyable because there's this insane plot and it's unfolding and evolving. And this happens a little bit in the bit where we talked about the protesting one, right? Where it suddenly changes and becomes something a little bit different, totally different. I really enjoy the aesthetic with that sort of plot structure going on with Wes Anderson. And I just felt like I'm just getting a bunch of very disjointed vignettes. And it's like, I just said, okay, that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I think about the movie. I would love to hear more about why you think this movie is saying something, because I got nothing in terms of what the movie is saying or doing.
I would like to hear that. I just wonder, guys, because we're now at like 3 hours.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, probably not right now. Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for when we do this on a Not Your Father's Movies episode.
The French
and you're subjected to this movie again. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd have to watch. I would do it. Whenever it comes up, I would do it, guys. Come on. Yeah, I'd love to hear more.
I would. Yeah, I'd do it.
Jesse, my friend, your number one pick from 2021.
Yeah, my number one pick, if you listen to the pod, maybe this shouldn't be surprising. It's Dune. Really,
we doing it.
Dune.
We doing it because Dune is a sci-fi huge scale blockbuster that manages to feel artsy at the same time and with lots of style all to itself. I thought it had solid performances, and if you can listen back on the episode, but I got a whole nice 3-act structure in here, and I really enjoyed that. If you want sci-fi with political intrigue with a huge, cool style all to itself, this is a movie for you. And how is that not awesome?
No, honestly though, this is a once in a generation movie. Like that should not be discounted. This is an epic to an epic scale that I think is heretofore unseen. We've never seen a movie this big.
Yeah, never seen a movie this big function.
I honestly don't think I've ever seen anything. No. Something that shows Dune this scale like this. Holy shit!
There was another Dune.
There was another
Dune. Sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
You guys know it blows.
I do, but like. People have tried to do this, and this was pulled off beautifully. It's a beautiful movie in its own weird way. Like, it's hard to make the desert beautiful. Trust me, I live in the desert. I know. And he does it. And like everything feels like has intricate detail attached to it. Like the CGI feels like lovingly crafted. The last time I really felt like that was like Lord of the Rings 20 years ago, where it felt like details mattered, and details matter here. Love this movie. Yeah, you're right. It's a once in a generation thing. and I got the full experience. And you can listen back to our podcast on that, where we talk a lot about whether or not it's a full movie or not, which is why it's not on Vito's list, but is on mine. Yeah.
It's a stupid hang up I have. I acknowledge it.
It's a hang up. It's real. And, my number one.
It's a hangnail right here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My number one, I can't wait to not have to change my number one movie when the sequel comes out.
Oh, no. I'm not changing it in this year. I'll just make it in that year. I'll pull Dune 2021 through time and space 2023 and just plonk it down. Finally, there's an ending.
Oh, great.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the ending of the Paul Atreides part of the saga. Did I say that right? I don't think I said that right. This part of the story that Paul Atreides is in, that's not saying he's not going to be in other parts of the story.
Yeah.
I think that's better. My number one, it's Licorice Pizza. I love this movie. I think this movie is fantastic. It's simultaneously a little underwhelming and at times a little overwhelming in terms of what we're seeing. It's underwhelming because it's not about anything, at all, really. I mean, it's about a relationship, but the relationship seems to be happening. It seems to be happening kind of on the sly, and it's surprising how that is. It's not the focus of the movie. It's something that's happening in every scene, but you're just not that aware of it. I don't know. It's hard to describe this movie. A lot of things happening in the valley in the 70s, and these two crazy, wacky kids are kind of pull each other together through either attraction, friendship, something, but they want to be in each other's lives. It's hazy. It's kind of slow at times. It's meandering. It's dreamy. It's also sweet. It's sweet in a way that Paul Thomas Anderson has never been sweet. It's nice. He's not a nice filmmaker in my eyes, but this one he's nice, and that's pleasant to be around. Yeah, I just let this movie wash over me. I let myself enjoy it. I let myself not question everything that was occurring, and I was rewarded with something that was just really incredible.
That's great.
What do you think, Mike, since this was your number three?
I'm thinking about you saying that you don't think of Paul Thomas Anderson as a nice filmmaker, and I kind of want to talk about that, but probably we shouldn't, because I kind of feel like he might be one of the nicest filmmakers I've ever seen.
This is a classic hot take from Mike, which is like a direct repudiation, but it's not that simple.
It's not that simple. Yeah, okay. Yeah, dude, no, this is a lovely movie. It's lovely. It's wonderful. It's his happiest movie. It's watching Alana Haim and Cooper Hoffman run around LA in the 70s.
Literally sprinting, just like all the time.
They're constantly running. It's amazing. And these two, this actor and this actress, it's just wonderful to see them begin their career this way. I'm so excited for them to be around more. It's weird. This is a hangout movie. It's not really you're right. But at the same time, within that hangout where we kind of are treated to sort of what happens in life to a girl in her 20s in LA in the 70s as well. It's very interesting, and that makes it sound like, oh, there's something dark and pernicious in here. No, that's not what I mean. It's just everyday life, and it's very moving.
It's really funny too.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's sad. It's sweet. It's romantic. It's also not romantic. It's friendly. The needle drops are fantastic consistently. There's one specifically that happens. It's a Paul McCartney number, and holy shit, that scene is amazing. Maybe my favorite scene of the year. Oh wow, yeah, it's really good. So many parts of this movie are really good. Yeah, there's definitely some negatives here. I think there's a joke there's actually two separate jokes about Asian women that are not funny, that go on for a while. I get why they're here. I think I understand the intention behind having the character here, but it must be said they're really, it's really clear. They're really loud. You can't not notice that there's a really mean joke about Asians here, even if I think there's a reason for it. And then the central relationship between Alana and Cooper Hoffman and their characters, we're told there's about a 10-year age difference between a 15-year-old and a 25-year-old. They never consummate their relationship in any way, and it is mostly just flirtatious. And there's like some question about exactly how old Alana Haim's character is supposed to be. But
dude, I was thinking about that.
15.
And she's definitely at least like mid-20s.
Yeah.
Which
even if she wasn't definitely mid-20s, he's definitely 15.
Yeah. And she's definitely an adult.
So this is a hard thing. But in that way, I think it's a challenging movie, but not outright. I think it's still easy to be enjoyed. And I loved it. I loved it a lot.
I mean, that's one of the things that PTA does is he focuses on the most awkward relationships that you could possibly imagine and how they can work. The reason why it's not higher for me is because of that. And I don't know, I haven't worked it out yet. I think, and I mean, like, I don't know. I've known, like, I remember out of college, I knew a couple people who became teachers and started teaching kids who were like 2 years younger than them, sort of thing, or like even 4 or 5. Like, that's not a huge age difference in the end. Mm-hmm. And I remember them talking about like, yeah, it gets a little weird, it gets a little awkward. So it's not like this is something that I think is I don't know. Again, like the pernicious, like often this is like, oh, this is evil or something bad. That's not how I feel about it, but it's complicated, right?
It's uncomfortable.
It's definitely uncomfortable. Yeah.
Like hearing you talk about it, I guess I wasn't excited to see Licorice Pizza because I kind of saw that. I was like, ooh, not sure if I want to see that because you never know what's going to happen. But hearing that it's number 2 and number 1, well, clearly I have to see it now.
There's a moment where a line could be crossed, where one character considers doing it.
Yeah.
And they really consider doing it. Like they're so close. And then they pull back. And I really appreciated that about the movie. That the movie is acknowledging that this is weird and it's still an unlikely friendship. And it does.
Yeah, but that's not the reason why he pulls back, though, dude. Like, he pulls back because I know. I'm not going to go into it. It's not.
I understand why in the context of the movie, but I'm saying the movie as a whole is doing that, and he knows what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my number 1. I wish it was not as complicated. I wish I didn't have to couch it that way. And honestly, like, screw him for doing that. It didn't need to be done that way. Could have been different. Wouldn't have changed a thing at all. Should have been different, in fact, I would say. Just stop involving kids in romances. It'll be easier, guys.
I mean, why couldn't she be 18 or something?
Yeah, why couldn't he be 18? Why isn't he just graduating high school?
Yeah.
Why? There's no reason. There's no reason at all why this couldn't have been solved.
Yeah.
Which makes it sad that I have to say that when I'm talking about my number 1 movie of the year. Yeah. But yes, it is.
Apart from that, it is just off the wall joyful. I think it's the story of Peter Pan. That's my hot take.
But he loves growing up. We talked about this last time. He wants to grow up so hard.
He doesn't want to grow up, dude. He doesn't want to grow up. No,
he's already done it.
Okay, look at all the grown-ups. He doesn't want to be them.
Yeah, he wants to be different.
He wants to have the swords, and he wants to have like this stuff and the things.
He wants to have the businesses where he sells the stuff.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be one of them.
All right. We'll have to leave it for the episode.
I look forward to watching it. I look forward to seeing it.
All right, so we've done our number 1s. Mike's was The French Dispatch. Jesse's was Dune. Mine was Licorice Pizza. We will make sure that we post all of the top 10s with this sometime after you've had a chance to listen to the episode.
Maybe we should share our Letterboxd top 10 lists.
I definitely.
You have a top 10 list? We could put those in the show notes.
Yeah, we
could do that. Yeah.
I guess I'll just do that. Yeah.
But the last thing we want to close with is for you guys. What is the best dad movie of 2021? Jesse.
This is a real toss-up for me because obviously Dune is my number 1, and it's very dad.
Oh yeah,
extremely dad. It's
Horde.
sci-fi. It's political intrigue. But I think there's another sneaky one that is, in some ways, a little more dad. Possibly more dad. It's Nobody. I think Nobody is my dad movie of the year. I can't imagine anything more dad than a dad just doing his daily life and living the angry dad fantasy. And this is yeah, my word. This is a movie where I'm definitely like, I'm not sure if I want my kids to associate it with me, but they probably will. And I will definitely end up falling asleep, and they'll just come out and see like, oh yeah, Dad's watching Nobody again. And it's so much fun and funny, and yeah, that is my dad movie of the year pick.
Very nice. How about you, Mike?
Is it between The French Dispatch and something else?
No, it's not.
Okay,
it's not. I kind of think it's King Richard. Did you guys think King Richard?
We did not.
I did not.
Okay,
yeah.
That it's not best movie I've seen this year, but like, man, that movie's got a lot of heart. It's a good, like, it's a sports movie, you know, and it's a good sports movie. It's like top tier sports movie.
Okay. And it's a dad sports movie, right?
Oh yeah, it's about Serena and Venus Williams' dad, and like, I've got two girls, and I mean, he had lots of children, and don't look into the real Richard Williams. I have not. I'm not going to. He seems to be a complicated individual. This movie is about the best version of him. And it's just like, Will Smith does an excellent job in this movie. I think that this is my dad movie of the year. Yeah.
Wow.
Just the way, like it shows him fighting for his daughters in a way that is almost absurd. It's in a way that would get him ridiculed. And man, like, as a father, like, I need to do that. I need to fight for my children to the point of ridicule, past the point of ridicule, so that people think like this guy's crazy. But it's also got to be like, I got to be right. Like, like the only reason why he was right. That's why we have a movie about him. Otherwise, he would be crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do it. I don't know. It's got some things that are lacking in it. Overall, as far as a dad movie goes, in my mind, this is it.
And it's a dad fighting for sports for their kids.
Yeah.
Like, what is more dad than that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. And like, to keep his kids out of the ghetto, like, he moves them out of Compton, and fights against, like, it shows him like fighting against the people in Compton, in different ways to get them out of there, to get them focused on their studies as well as their sports. Like, it's really cool. I think you'd like it, Jesse. Vito, I don't know if you would like it.
That sounds like a comfort food.
Yeah.
Nice time movie.
It's 2.5 hours.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay.
Is it really is a great reaction.
Every movie that comes along and Jesse's like, oh, interesting. I'm like, it's 5 hours long. Jesse's like, ah.
Okay, I mean, Vito. Wait, no, sorry.
If I could have this movie on in the background, which it sounds like I could.
Yeah.
Because this sports movies and this sounds like a pretty predictable sort of plot. Like, I kind of know. I know these beats. I know these plot points. And that's also another dad movie. Like, can it just be like around there in the house? Can it be a presence in the home with us?
You could do your taxes. You could do your taxes watching this movie. Like, nice. Like, that's the kind of movie it is. It's like the sort of thing that you're just like, you've got the TV on and you're like in a, it's a sort of movie like you're in a hotel and you're like, what are we going to turn? Oh, King Richard's playing. Like, let's put that on. I don't think there's anything that is bad in it at all. Like, kids could, kids could watch it. I think. I mean, I don't think my kids would be very interested in it, but it's totally fine. But it's
Yeah.
like I said, like kind of the top level of that stuff.
Awesome.
Vito, what is your dad movie of 2021?
It's Get Back. Get Back is the easy answer because
It's
the Beatles.
Yeah,
It is dad. Beatles is the definition of dad.
that's true.
It is a long movie filled with intricate details, many cameo appearances. Peter Sellers shows up for about 2 minutes, becomes
Cool.
wildly uncomfortable, tries to leave, can't find the door, and has to be instructed on where it is, while everyone laughs at him. This is a very dad detail to bring up. Like, oh, did you know in the Let It Be sessions, Peter Sellers actually stopped by. He was filming a movie nearby, and he just wanted to meet the Beatles. He met them. They made him very uncomfortable. like that's just like one of the stupid, meaningless anecdotes that you would hear from an older figure. Sorry, not elderly.
Yeah.
I am one of those elderly figures now. In your life when you're younger, and like you don't know who any of these people are, but when you see the adults in the room watching it, and they're all like, "Oh, it's Peter Sellers," you're like, "That's somebody, I guess." Everyone knows who they are. That's how I feel about this. Like, if this had come out when I was younger, I definitely would have been pushed it numerous times and been told it was important and I needed to learn about my culture and things like this that are stupid and like not really the case, but also a little bit. Yeah, I think it's for that and everything else. Like the Beatles are a font for dads to like crowd around and dip their young ones in the holy water of the discography.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Having grown up with my dad watching so many documentaries about musicians and like the making, like I'm pretty sure we watched a whole documentary about the Eagles, like breaking up and then getting back together again, like stuff like that. I can say that these sort of documentaries are just incredibly dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like the meaningless little stories. Like, oh, did you know when this was happening? It was because of this and that. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to anyone, Dad. I'm so glad you know that. But it is still great. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Boy, what a long one, guys. But what a pleasure to do it with you. Really happy to have had this conversation. Really happy to have done this year with you. Can't wait for our next year.
Yeah.
Same here.
It's exciting. And we're starting off the new year with a bang because we have certain things beginning next week.
Yeah, it's something like that. Making a lot of sounds. Yeah. All we have to say is that when you look at yourself in a mirror, you should ask yourself, why so serious?
Swear to
me! But until then, for all of us at Not Your Father's Movies, I'm Vito.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jesse.
Good night.